I'm at Grace Church Road. I went to Waynesboro to bring this man down to this address, and now he's trying to force his way into a house. I'm afraid to move my vehicle. Just slicing in there.
It's inside the house now?
Yeah.
You have your doors locked?
It's open. I'm in a van.
You need to make yourself safe, okay? Even if you've got to drive away from there to get away from him and close that and lock that door. Do that for me now, please.
Okay, wait a minute.
And boom, we are here. Hey guys, how are you tonight? And Lewis and Adam snuck in there at the last second. Hey Adam.
You made it.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. I just figured we'd start, and I know that you'd pop in at just as soon as you were able to. Because I know you just got home. So what
made it at the last minute.
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday.
Yeah. So you guys know whenever we're late, it's
Sunny's fault.
My fault, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Trust and Justice, thanks for becoming or renewing your membership on there. And don't forget, guys, that any one of you guys in chat or whatever, you guys are allowed to drop memberships if you feel like gifting anybody. You can do that. Just remember that. It's one of YouTube's many things that it has to offer. Kyle Davis is in the house. Libcom. Yeah, hey Kyle. Sunflowers in the house. Miracle Heart, True Crime Housewife. Hey, how you doing? RZ, Remy Stuff. Hey guys. Let's see here. Got one. Oh, Nicole's in the house. Hey Nicole. Hey Sally. How you doing? Linda's in the house. And Dave. Hey Dave. Wanda from Missouri. FP's in the house. Moonshadow. Hey Moonshadow. There's Callie. Hey, Callie girl. How you doing? Coming at you from a secret location. Yeah, she's on vacay. Aspen Connor's in the house.
That's not fair. We never get to go on vacation, Sonny.
Overworked and underpaid.
Right. It's been like a week and a half since I had a vacation.
At least, right? I don't even know when I go on vacation. Usually at Christmas. I knew Support with Steph. I had you in my mind before I even seen your name. Hey, Support with Steph. How are you? Let's see here. Who else? JD's in the house. Hey, Ben. Oh, hey, Metal Mama Michelle. How are you? I miss you. There we go. Did I say Belinda already? Hey, there's my McDougal tree right there. Deborah Young. Hey, Deborah, how are you? Welcome back. And Leah, Angel's in the house. Fibro. Who else we got? Got anybody else? Jill Moser. Did I say that? Anyways, so yeah, thank you. Support with Staffa. Hopefully you and your daughter are feeling better. Metal Mama Michelle. I know that your dad's, that he's fallen ill as well. And I know that Callie's sitting there vacationing on us, acting like she's hiding out somewhere secret. Right. Yeah. Oh, and Lewis.
I at least had the decency to pop on 3 times while I was on vacation.
Yeah, I mean, you probably messaged only twice though.
Think of how memorable they were.
Thank you, Deborah. And prayers to Deborah, of course. We had a talk the other night just between us, right? Okay. Hello, Steph. So what on earth does page 8 say anyways? Adam, you know what? So thanks, everyone. Yeah. Please hit the like. And if you haven't, please hit that like for us. And Adam, you go ahead and explain that one.
Well, to be completely honest, page 8 of the affidavit is a whole bunch of a nothing burger, because we actually had page 8 yesterday. It was just sent to us along with the charging document. So a lot of people thought it was part of the charging document, but it was actually the 8th page of the affidavit, which I got the PDF file from the Carroll County county clerk today. Someone sent it to me from the county clerk's office today, along with all the PDF files that have been for any motion or order that's been filed in Richard Allen's case so far. So I'm so grateful to the person that provided that for me. But yeah, so page 8 is really nothing but what you're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah.
It's literally just, kind of like we had speculated that it was going to have the attorneys' names, and kind of just saying that this was the affidavit and the signatures, which this is, this is not signed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, everyone was, saying it was redacted and that it was, could contain important information, but unfortunately it does not. But I mean, I said, I can say this came directly from the county clerk's office. So
I was going to say
it actually answers a couple of questions, though.
Okay. Wait, don't cut. Hold on. I'm trying to get something in there. 1 second. No offense, but I was trying to get something in there. So I was just going to say, I did put up a video today letting you guys know. And so because Adam had told me earlier. And so there's a certain person on the board that kept wanting to say that it was fraudulent, that it's not the right one. So just so you know, it's from the county clerk's office. So this is for it. Now, in saying that, go ahead, Louis. I just wanted to get
it names who filed the affidavit. It wasn't filed by an officer, but it also puts down that it was served by Tony Liggett. So now we know who served the document. We know who actually turned the document into the court. Because, in Indiana, it could be an officer turning it in after the arrest and then doing a charging document. So this answers the question as to what the steps were, who did each process, and the timing. So I got some information from it that answered my questions.
Right. Yeah. And I like that it had the date on it as well. Because, I knew that it was written between the 26th and the 28th. But one thing I noticed on here was it actually says on there that the file's probable cause affidavit, sorry, I can't read it, executed by Tony Liggett. Yeah. It says the defendant being in custody, which I found interesting because this was written on the 27th, but to our understanding, he was not arrested until the 28th. Yeah. So I thought I
read that he spoke with them on the 26th. Is that correct?
He spoke with them on the 26th, which is why I knew it was written sometime between the 26th and 28th. Yeah. But because the 28th was the day that was my understanding of him being arrested. But it says here the defendant being in custody.
So what I gleaned from that last page is that instead of them making up the affidavit, serving it to a judge, getting an arrest warrant, and going out there, it almost makes me think that it was my first thought that law enforcement drafted this document up with help from the prosecutor so that they could make the arrest and not wait for a warrant from the judge. So that would explain him talking on the 26th. They issue the document to pick him up immediately, and then he's picked up, and that's why you've got this instead of a regular warrant. So
right, but it's got the signature line for Judge Deemer there, right there. So I'm assuming it still needed to be signed off on by a judge.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just thought that being in custody was interesting because it was written on the 27th.
Yeah, that is interesting that it says that the day before, but it could just be that they were in the process, or like I said, if law enforcement drew up the affidavit instead, they would have made the arrest without getting a warrant, and then they would have made up the charge document after. So that could explain the steps in that order, which would be different than the prosecutor drafting the whole document and sending it in, which is why you might not have as much information in this affidavit as you would have if it was done differently.
Right.
Well, I was going to say too, they took him in on the 26th.
Which is when he was questioned for that last time. So I'm thinking that is when they actually made the official, they actually held it, because they can hold him for 72 hours. So I'm assuming that when he went in for questioning on the 26th, he didn't come out. He has not left custody since.
Right. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
and they probably didn't make the actual they probably made the arrest on the 28th when he went in front of the judge, and not on the 26th. He was just held, like Adam said. So that would make more sense.
When they actually filed the murder charges.
Exactly.
They filed on the 28th, yeah. So yeah, that makes all this, so that does make sense. But then again, this is, this also did have, at one point in the affidavit listed one of the witness statement dates as February 13th, 2022 instead of 2017. So
yeah,
hopefully, hopefully they've got someone reading these things and can do a little bit better of a job when they, because it was I thought it was kind of poorly written to begin with, but.
Well, that's why I'm wondering if, with the way it's written, if it was actually written up by law enforcement instead, and that's why it was done that way. Or it could just be they had somebody in the clerk's office type it up, and the clerk made a mistake typing the date. But
that's what I'm assuming, just because it says, since it says McClellan filed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the mysterious page 8.
Yeah.
And
we knew that Tony Liggett was there that day. We knew he was there for all 12 hours of the search warrant. So
yeah.
Now I just need to get my hands on that. I don't know why that wasn't in the file, because it was every PDF, but I didn't get the search warrant.
That document's not public after an arrest. These are the only ones that become public. So
so just to show you, here's it's in PDF format here.
Yeah. But yeah, it did come as one file, just for anyone that thinks that it might be fraudulent. If it's fraudulent from the county clerk's office, because it was sent in one file with 8 pages together.
Yeah. So that's just to show you guys that. Okay. So mystery solved. Boom.
Yep.
Thanks, Adam. The thing is that I didn't even bother to go check my on docs because it was already sent, so I didn't even bother to go look for myself. But in saying that, it wasn't even there. I think you had to request it.
Yeah. Well, in the fact, and we did have it. We just thought it was part of the charging document because of the way it was sent.
Correct. Because I showed it yesterday.
Yeah.
But I thought it was part of the other, the 3 groups or whatever, because that's how it came. It didn't come with the So
it almost looks like a cover page and not the last page. I would have got the same impression looking at it.
Yeah, and who just even said to me, she was like, "Oh, that's part of the charging document." I was like, "Oh no, my bad." But everyone on Facebook and everyone on YouTube was kind of under the same assumption that page 8 was fully redacted, and so I just wanted to clear that up. And for anyone thinking there was information there that to be deemed from it, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, we're going to talk about, I guess next, we're going to talk about the man in black. And again, in chat there, if you guys think that there was 2 people there that day, put a 1, and if not, put a 2. So if you think that there was at least 2 people, there at the day of the crime, against Abby and Libby, put a 2. Okay, so 2. Okay, so 1 for if there was more than 1, or 1 if there was 2 people, at least 2 people, and 2 if you think it's just basically 1 person. It's a crime machine. Is Kitty still your BG, or do you think this Allen guy is actually it? I've said it in a few lives now, that I believe that Allen is the BG. So after getting the picture, which we all didn't know or have anyone up until that point. So the one thing that to me is kind of unmistakable is the nose. He has a nose that droops quite pronouncedly down here. And so when you compare that to the BG, there's that big droopy nose. So I believe that Richard Allen is the BG, correct, and not Katie, correct. So yeah, all made sense though, did. But when someone comes out of the woodwork and then you have an actual picture of someone that they've arrested, yeah, very similar. It's ironic to me how similar the characteristics are and stuff like that. But the unmistakable thing to me is definitely that nose. It just has a big droop to it. Okay, so you know what? It's kind of a mishmash of 1 and 2, to be honest with you. Okay, so okay, yeah. So sorry, guys. Before we get into that, okay, if you guys haven't seen my video on what did I even label it anyway?
Are you talking about your Duty Ron one?
Yeah. Well, it was Duty Ron, J for Justice, whatever one, and it was called oh my god, Jarek. It was canceled by streamers. So yeah, that I mean, the thing is that it's funny, not funny, because it's just that I happened to be right in the mix of it while everyone was live. I decided I wanted to go, I remembered it was November 30th. I wanted to go see about Jared's, hearing today. So I wanted to go see if I could find it on the live stream, and I did, but then it wasn't loading. And this other person had the same link as well. And I'm like, okay, so, I'll just catch her. And then next thing I know, I go back to her and we're hearing Duty Ron's voice. So I go over to Duty Ron and he's sitting there, just going on. And then he starts listening to his phones. He's like, where's that? And then he puts it down and then anyways, it's really funny. Next thing you know, so then I'm watching, I go over and I see that J for Justice is actually streaming the live of the hearing. And all of a sudden, everyone's hearing Duty Ron's voice, but it was just so, it was, okay, that was an honest mistake. There's a difference between an honest mistake and then you have no thanks plunk in his channel, hey Duty Ron, so by the way, I'm just gonna let you know that we can hear you, and then click, then you get this other person going, hey Duty Ron and Doug, and and J for Justice is thinking it's Doug Bishop at first, and then she realizes no, it's Doug from No Thanks. And then this other guy pipes in there, and everyone just starts acting like they can just open up their mics and start talking. And then No Thanks goes, like, who's the best YouTube channel on? And just listening to J's for Justice talk, and she's just like, I had to edit because trust me, she was upset, and rightfully so, because I mean, it blew it for everyone to watch it. Then they rescheduled, but anyways, so I just took out. So it was all happening as I'm flipping between each of the channels, and I'm just like, huh, what's okay? And then I'm going, oh, what's Duty Ron saying? Because he's feeling bad because he just got basically feeling embarrassed for what just happened, and J for Justice is over there cursing out and stuff, and I was just like, okay, let me. They're funny, like the parts that I thought deemed as were, what kind of made up exactly what happened. And yeah, I mean, I even watched it a second time and a third time just because it was making me laugh so much. But anyways, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It ruined it, unfortunately. So, Jared's, I think, thing gets rescheduled. But the funniest part was when that guy's like, excuse me, Judge. And she just like, like, give me a minute. And he's just like, I just need to ask Daryl or whatever if I'm supposed to be in court today. And then the attorney guy's going, yes, you're supposed to be in court. Get down here. Whatever. And it was too much. It was like all of it was too much. So I was just, like I said, I took the best parts. Well, let me put it this way. I believe that J for Justice took hers down after that because, I mean, at the end of the day, it was just a lot of, cussing and swearing, and it never happened anyway. But yeah, but yeah, people know that.
I didn't watch it. I someone had sent me a message about it, and so then I sent you the message, Sunny, and I was like, because I was at work, so I was like, oh, Sunny will get a kick out of this, and she was watching it when I sent it. Or when it happened, so.
Oh yeah. Rose, someone helped him stage a scene. He didn't have that stuff in his hands when Pick was taken on the bridge. So I would say more than one involved. Well, I'm going to tell you, Rose, you're absolutely wrong on the first part, but you're probably more right on the second part. he absolutely did have a lot of stuff with him, but not the entirety of what is actually at the crime scene. So even when I listened to Julie Melvin today on Fig, so Julie Melvin was on Fig Solve. So if you guys haven't seen that one, go watch that one as well today. Julie Melvin, like I personally haven't spoken to Julie Melvin myself. Now Adam does, but me personally, Adam and that know from my work what the BG has on him, like a lot of stuff. I heard Julie Melvin say that herself today, and I didn't even actually know that she knew how much stuff was on him. And she made that same comment I did, but yet me and her have never talked about it. So Julie Melvin's been around from the get-go, and she does have a lot of information, and a lot of good information is out there from her. You know, some people like her, some people don't. I don't really care. It's each to their own. She has a lot of good information. And when I was listening to her talk too about the man in the black and stuff like that, and then, you know, Lewis and I were talking about that last night as well, and you know, as one of the things that we were going to talk about today. So Lewis, let's get into that about the man in the black.
Sure.
Can I really quickly say, I did not watch Fig's live today, but I saw that they did it, and so I messaged both of Fig. I messaged both Fig and Julian. I said, you know, the only thing your video was missing was a little je ne sais quoi, mainly me.
Yeah. Like I didn't know that was coming. Yeah. No, I only caught the end of it, to be honest. I didn't watch the whole thing because I just happened to like I said, it came up saying that Fig was on, and I seen Julie Melvin was on it, and then I just happened to catch the part, just as the stuff we were talking about last night about the men in black, and about when Julie started talking about the plethora of things that was on the BG. But I know that, so that's why I'm saying, Rose, there was quite a substantial stuff that the BG had on him. Trust me. All I'm thinking in my head is the guy's a cuckoo clock for doing that, but there's definitely more things at that scene than what he could ever carry by himself.
Right.
So go ahead, Lewis.
Okay. Well, you know, from early on, I want to say the rumor started in middle of 17, end of 17, that there was a person that was seen by a witness dressed all in black, and some said with a backpack, some said without, with a duffel bag, but there was always a rumor of somebody dressed completely in black that was seen by the woods near the trailhead. And when I say trailhead, I mean when you come over the Freedom Bridge, that circular area of dirt that goes into the trails, sure, and the woods that are behind that's the point that I think that's where he was seen. But
okay, let me bring up Google Earth.
Yeah, I figured you were going to pull that up.
Okay. So when he's talking about the trailhead, you're talking about this area here.
Exactly. I've always referred to that as the trailhead because that is the head of where the trails start from the Freedom Bridge. If you were parking at the Freedom Bridge, you'd park on the left side, which would be the west side of 25. You'd cross over the Freedom Bridge, and that's the area where everything is. And that puts you in the direction of going to, you've got that sort of welcome area.
Right. And that's where we saw the guy blowing the, whatever that's called, that horn in that one video years ago.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Was that Dave McCain? Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, I forget his last name. Yeah. But right there is where I've always thought that witness had seen the person by the woods, because if you go to the woods that are next to the entrance to the trails, you can follow the trail in either direction. You can follow it going more northeast and come out where the other trailhead is, which is where the Mears parking lot was, or you can go completely to the south and follow Deer Creek. And if you follow Deer Creek, you would be following the actual trail, but down by creek level, and you can get around that way.
Right.
And you notice that the trail is in white.
So
in relation, where's the CPS building? I'm sorry, Sonny.
But let me just
go north. Go back to where the circular trailhead is, and the CPS building is right there.
So if you're parked at the CPS building, you wouldn't cross the Freedom Bridge to get to the trailhead, correct?
If you parked at the CPS building, you could possibly go straight to that trailhead, but you don't have to go over the Freedom Bridge.
Right.
Everything is on that east side of 25. Yeah.
To get to the parking area for the trails, that's when you cross Freedom Bridge.
The only thing that's crossing over the Freedom Bridge is if you actually parked at that parking lot.
Yeah.
But in 17, there were other areas that people normally parked at, like where the girls were dropped off by Mears Barn.
Right.
You could fit 4 or 5 cars there, and then you could park on the edge of the road too.
Right.
And
then the Harvest Store is the long building we see right there.
That Harvester sits. So if you're looking at the length of the trail that would take you to the bridge, Harvester's like right in the middle of it, off of 300, just north of 300.
I'm showing them on the map as we're talking.
Yeah. So, which to me looks like the way that, probably, not to jump ahead, but when Richard Allen probably left, he probably, cut through somewhere off the trail onto 300.
What's his address again? 1657 Whiteman?
Yeah.
I think it's Whiteman Drive, right?
Yeah, Whiteman Drive.
Okay. So his house.
It's just southeast, I believe. Or south.
Yeah.
Is it southwest?
It's right here. Yeah. His house is right here in comparison to where Kay Weber's house is. So on the south side, southwest side, would be where he lives, right here.
So, and then Sonny, where would Indiana Packers be? Because I know we had talked last night about
right here.
So when someone had speculated that he might be on that surveillance footage going by, he would not have driven by Packers to get to the trail that day.
No.
Unless he took
if he drove down to 25 and took it that way, but most likely
why would he? Yeah.
Right on 200 and crossed over, because it said that his vehicle was seen on 300, which means he was coming from the east going west.
Exactly.
But he lives west of the trail. So that means he most likely went 200 up and then went around and then came over that other bridge and then came past Ron Logan's house and then parked over there.
And just one sec. Adam, just because I'm on it, I'm not even in the actual screen of StreamYard. I'm literally on Google Maps because it just makes it easier. If you could just man the comments too as they come in. I just can't see anybody's, that's all. As we're talking.
It's mainly compliments for you, so we can just keep going.
Yeah. Well, you have to stop for those ones, right? Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So I want to go back to this because now Abby's home was right around here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it?
I think it's more north. If you pull in closer.
Well, was it?
Her house was in between Allen's and the bridge, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's right. This is the church.
Yes.
This is the Pine Grove Missionary Baptist Church. And I know Abby's mom's house. I think it was here.
Down by Packers?
It's either this road or this road, one of the two.
Go up a little bit. I was thinking it was a little bit farther north.
Let me see if I have it on my...
Because it was the end of the private drive. Is the start of that road that she lives off is the start.
Exactly. See, right there is where the private drive starts and
the
county road ends. Yeah.
Let me see if I have Anna's little tag here.
But while you're looking for that, since you've got this up, right in this area here is where the witness that supposedly gave the second sketch release description, the younger sketch, had seen the man in the woods that was also dressed in black that scared them. And that was before where they've got timestamps of Richard Allen being by the bridge. So the question of a person in black maybe being a second person involved, if he was seen here, he would have easy access to the south end of the bridge without having to cross any of the trails. And he could also get back to the trailhead by following Deer Creek and going through the woods.
Wait, I'm sorry, Luz. Can you repeat that? Because where did you say that where did you say that they encountered the man in black?
Right about here, right, Lewis?
Not the witness that you're reading in there. That one was supposedly by the trailhead by the young girls. But the witness, it's not in there. But I think Julie brings up in that video too. Early on, there was always rumors that the second sketch released was actually the same person that reported a person in the woods.
The 16-year-old?
No. Now, this was an older woman, Kay Weber's neighbor.
Okay. Oh,
so
yeah,
Kay's neighbor, Kay's neighbor had said that she had seen somebody in the woods by the private drive, and she was walking her dog. They put the dogs away. Her and her husband went to leave, and they encountered him again when they were leaving their driveway. He was in the woods. He looked kind of eerie. He turned around and just walked away. And he had been staring towards the north from the woods, which would be towards the south end of the bridge. And that was said early on. And then later on, it was said that she's the same person that did the sketch first, which was the younger sketch released later on. So if this person in black that was seen in the woods is the same person that the other witness saw in black by the trailhead, he could have been over here. He could have brought things over to the south end of the bridge. He could have followed Deer Creek through the woods, came out by the trailhead, and then headed towards the bridge on the trails or in the woods that way. So if it's the same person and they just mistaken the color of the clothing by two different people and it was Richard Allen, or he changed at his car before he came back out or put on different coats, anything could happen. Or is it that there's two people and two people saw somebody wearing all black and then three people saw somebody wearing blue with blue jeans?
But Kay Weber also said, or whatever it was, that the person had a little bit darker complexion.
Yeah, the person that was seen over by the private drive, Kay's neighbor had told her that the person had darker skin, more like a tan, not saying that they were, a different nationality, but that they just looked to have darker complexion.
Yeah. So that's why it's like to me, that's why when we're talking about someone in black, how do you mix up someone, to me, how do you mix up someone that's completely wearing blue and then someone that's completely wearing black? That would be
I've heard some people say, well, in the woods, if you're wearing dark blue, it could be mistaken for, black. But he wasn't wearing dark blue. He had very light blue jeans on, like stonewash type jeans.
Right.
And a medium blue colored coat over a tan looking, hooded jacket underneath it. I mean, nothing there screams black to me. So to have one person say it in an affidavit and another person that said it rumored years ago that they were both wearing, black clothing, that's just an odd coincidence.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you mean, Queen, by labeling the map. The map's labeled. Like I'm not gonna start pulling out stickmen and making them walk in the woods or nothing like that. Just saying. But the map's pretty labeled for you. I think anyone that was watching that got the gist of that, eh? Like it's showing you exactly where each point is, and then all he's saying is that this is the private drive down here. So this is the private drive, right? This is the private drive right here.
If you see the white road there that looks like it makes a 90-degree turn, it's making that right 90-degree turn where the gate to the private drive is, and then it continues up with that crooked curve to the right, and that's the actual private drive.
Talking about up here?
Yeah, if you follow that curve as you're going down, that's the whole go left and down. When you get to that 90-degree, that's the entrance there. Yeah.
Right. That's exactly where it starts. Yeah.
And you'll notice the property to the left of it, that's the wooded area that follows Bridge Creek, which actually goes right from Richard's house straight to Deer Creek, right past the bridge. So that's kind of a funny coincidence that creek follows that entire span going under 25 and then up to the south end of the bridge. Actually, it's a little bit further north of the south end of the bridge where Deer Creek curves. It dumps into Deer Creek.
Right.
Where? So people can understand, because I just didn't.
If you blow that up some.
Yeah. It's.
Go back down a little bit. Down a little bit. All right. See that thing in the woods? It looks like it's all curvy.
Yeah, that's Deer Creek.
That's Bridge Creek. As Bridge Creek goes up, it dumps right into Deer Creek, right past the Monon Bridge.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you were in the woods and you were trying to find a point of reference to follow to get there, and you looked on a map, you could follow that creek and not get lost if it was your first time in the woods.
Right.
You might hit some areas that you'd have to get around a different way, but if you were mapping this to walk it, that would be a good reference point.
Right. And I mean, I think that of course it's all speculative, but just because like if that early witness account of someone all being in black down where you were saying is true, it's not odd that it wouldn't be in this affidavit, because it didn't, because nothing about that description of the person that could have also been there would have pointed to Richard Allen, and their intent in writing this affidavit was to arrest and get a judge to sign off on Richard Allen. So why include information about other people that were seen at the trails that day?
It's just odd that the description comes from in the affidavit wearing black, and a rumor from the start was another person in a different location wearing all black. So that's just kind of coincidental. And this description from the witness in the affidavit has also been out there since 2017 about the person seen by the trailhead that was seen by the younger witnesses wearing all black.
Thank you, WL22. Sunny, can we I think we should gloss to that.
We can gloss that. Again, thank you so much for that, WL22. Yeah, you guys, today's the last day of the month here, in a sense. So tomorrow is December 1st. Now that's reminding me about that. But yeah, thank you so much for doing that, you guys. And again, appreciate all the kindness and all that. So just to be transparent, like I said, it all helps. Like I said, I haven't been hiding it. I lost my job a little while ago. Everything I do is try to do things from YouTube and the different platforms that I do and stuff like that. So in essence, besides paying out for all the programs and stuff like that, and then, giving Adam some of it, I suppose, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like this is the Christmas money, a little bit of Christmas money that we have extra. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. I always get really embarrassed. I actually don't really like talking about my YouTube. It always embarrasses me, but I don't mind. Go ahead. Thank you.
No. You finish your.
No. I was just saying thank you. Well, I always believe in working hard for what I earn and something like that, and so I've never been a taker, but it is very much appreciated when people can help out with the channel and stuff like that. So thank you.
Well, we do work. I mean, I'm not gonna pat me on the back, but I mean, you work hard and we work hard. So
yeah, always going. I was just having that conversation with my husband today. It's not. This. It's the merch site. It's this.
I'm not sure at this point whether I spend more time on doing this work or my other job.
Yeah.
But,
I know.
But thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Okay, so
can I answer really quickly?
Yeah, somebody's question there.
Queen said they've only released 8 pages. Will they eventually release more? No, they won't release more because that's the entire affidavit. So there are no more pages for them to release. I know there was a rumor early on that it was 12 pages long, but it's not. So, I mean, and even if you were to add the 2 pages of the charging document, that's still only 10 pages. So I'm not sure where the rumor came from that it was 12 pages, but
I'll give you a hypothesis on that. Normally, you've got a header and an ending page for a fax. So if they sent a 12-page fax that had both documents in it, 10 of them would have been the documents, and you'd have the cover letter and then the ending page. So somebody might have seen a fax of 12 pages and just assumed that was the last document.
Oh, thank you, Magic.
There was a party going on. There was a splishing and a splashing. I feel, you know what? You get down here when that stuff comes on. I feel like I'm just hiding behind the thing. I'm the one that moves in a grooves over here.
Right.
So, what happened there? Thanks, Magic.
Thank you very much.
Going back to Magic actually for a second, actually 2 things there. WL22 said he had an eye exam today and thought of me. Okay, well, hopefully it went I'll tell you. Honestly, opticals is one of the biggest rip-offs ever. How much they soak you for things that cost nothing. So hopefully
Because you're
everyone,
blind when you do it.
yeah, no, but honestly, it is such a rip-off scale that it's not even funny. It literally will cost, okay, like maybe $50 to $100 on the extreme for your full frame and lenses, coatings and everything. And companies make it seem like you need to pay like usually at a very reputable place, like let's say, say Lens Crafters or whatever, $1,000 for one pair, and stuff like that. It is a total, they sell you a lot of nothingness is all it is. It doesn't matter. It comes out of China. Okay. Comes out of China, people. It's it's just such a ripoff. So anyways, hopefully, and then they want to even add a lot more to you if you have a higher script. But anyways, thank you for thinking about me while you had your exam today, and hope it went well. Thank you. Okay. And Magic, the unspent bullet conversation, we're going to get onto that just after the Man in Black conversation, and that will be our next one that we'll be talking about. Alrighty. Thank you again, or thank you for your super chat there. Thank you so much. Okay. FP says witness testimony is the worst, but dummy put himself there. If he didn't do it, I can't wait for the defense to tell us who did. They might even try to blame the cops. Sig Sauer is popular with Ellie. Witness testimony.
Can we talk about the charges for a minute?
Sure.
Or did you not want to jump into that?
Well, are we done talking about the Man in Black?
Unless you had some other questions, it's
Not really.
We mentioned there's rumors of two people seeing somebody in black, and the other person that supposedly saw somebody in black gave the other sketch that doesn't look like him at all, and I think that weighs more towards there being two people as opposed to not.
Yeah, and I was saying, hey, Cold Truth, Cold Truth can vouch for the fact that came directly from the county clerk's office.
Yes, absolutely. Roundabout City, Indiana. You're right. $500 today, and that's on the cheaper side, to be honest with you. And it doesn't cost him nothing. I mean, it's really cheap. Thank you so much, Charlotte. I glossed for you, Charlotte. Just know that. I didn't see Lewis putting his finger to his mouth. I didn't see Adam coming on screen to gloss. I glossed to that for you. Just saying. Somebody's a little bit more important sometimes.
I can vouch for Adam. He did earlier. You were off screen.
Mm-hmm. That's probably just his, yeah. I was gonna say, I can see Deb probably pulling out her lip gloss right now, going on. Let me just do this for Adam since he's too lazy to do it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you okay, bud?
Sorry. Yeah, I dropped my remote.
That's the remote to shut my mouth off. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't work though, does it? So go ahead, Lewis. What were you going to say?
I don't know if you wanted to bring anything else up about the.
Not really. Really. We're not going to be on doing a big live tonight anyway, so we're just going to cut through things.
Sounds
go through them. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, Culture.
So, my thing about the charging document, the charges is the bullet's not going to matter. Nothing's going to matter really other than what they already know. If they can prove that it's him telling them to go down the hill, then they've proved kidnapping. And this is a felony murder charge based on kidnapping. So even if he didn't do the murders and he didn't do anything after they went down the hill, let's say he stayed on the bridge and said, go down the hill, and the other person took them and everything happened. The reason for these charges is because I think that they cannot prove murder, but they can prove felony murder because they can prove kidnapping that resulted in death. So my gut call from this point on is it doesn't matter what they can say about bullet evidence, what they can say about physical evidence at the crime scene. If they're going to go after proving kidnapping and that's what resulted in murder, that's all they need to prove. So that's my sideline call on the whole situation and why the charges were the way they were, and they didn't charge for murder directly. What do you guys think?
I'm looking at Alexa, and she's talking about her grandpa for a second. Alexa, how come? Why can't you go back home for your grandpa's funeral? Alexa lost her grandpa yesterday, everyone.
While we were live.
Yeah, while we were live.
I have to give her props because we were live and she did not miss a beat. I know how heartbreaking that would be, and she stuck with us. And
she actually
sent so much, Alexa.
Yeah, she actually sent a message later saying, like thanking us for keeping her distracted in a sense.
Because, that probably helped her focus by staying on with you guys.
So, love you, Alexa. Yeah. So I don't know why you can't go back to your grandpa, but obviously there's reasons.
He's in Europe, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he not in the United States? Probably.
Oh. Okay. So I'm sorry.
You, Kristen. Hey, Kristen, how are you?
Hey, Kristen.
For anyone that didn't see, I was on Kristen's show last night and I had a great time. So thank you again for inviting me, Kristen.
Sorry, I did watch some of that. My bad. Totally forgot I even watched any of that, to be honest. I was sleeping. I woke up and I was like, "Oh, didn't Adam say he was on like Kristen?" So I did catch some of it. Did
it feel weird to see me with another woman, Sonny?
Or with
a woman at all? No.
Well, it was, first of all, I was shocked. I felt like betrayal at its finest, even though you did tell me you were going to be on it. But I still have to act like I have a shock value. You cheat. You just
right.
But anyways, yeah.
Great time though.
Yeah.
But she is right. India does not have felony murder.
Yeah. Kristen, we all know where the party's at, and it's in this house right here. Thank you. No, just kidding. Anyways, no. Adam and Kristen or whatever, like I said, caught you guys a little bit. Good live for what I did see of it and all that. Anyways, thanks for joining us tonight. And Adam, next time you have an affair, make sure you have a couple more. I mean, I can't say that.
I mean, the only other time I've been with other women on YouTube was, when I've been in between Cold Truth and Amy. So
yeah.
I have good tips.
Yeah. It's always though nice to go on other people's channels. Like when I was on Mel's without you, I was cheating on you with Mel. And you know what? And I liked every second of it. Every second all I was thinking about was, it's too bad Adam's not here. And then
so you're saying the whole time you were there, you were thinking about me?
No. Well, a little bit. I was going, me and Mel were flirting. We were just sitting there going, we don't even care that Adam's here because we got our paddles. And she was like, spank, Sonny. And I was like, oh, Mel. And I was like, spank, Mel. Something like that. It had happened. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she was like, you know what, Sonny, I think I love you more than I do Adam right now. And that was pretty much how it went while you were away. So too bad. And plus I have Alexa.
We all say in the heat of the moment we don't mean.
Yeah. Right?
Sorry, I guess we should be serious.
Okay.
If we want to keep this to like an hour and a half.
We're trying to keep back on track. Look at Lewis's face.
Poor Lewis, yeah.
Look at that face.
I'm just reading a message I got.
Yeah.
Yes, this was absolutely fun.
Lewis and Deb are going to be like, that you see, this is what I had to deal with. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Lewis, I don't even remember a thing you said not too long ago.
He was asking about if we were done with the Men in Black, and then if we wanted to move on to the next subject.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Moving right along, and then we were talking about something, and then he said, "What's your thoughts?" And I don't have a thought left after what I just was doing right now.
I know, Sonny, I did too. That's why I changed the subject, because I wasn't listening when he asked the question.
Okay, Lewis, we were totally listening to you, but if you could just repeat it again for all the people that weren't listening to you that are in the chat right now.
Which thing?
Hey, Deb.
Oh, just the last thing.
Last thing. That really important question.
Yeah, definitely. That last thing we were talking about with Richard Allen, that thing.
Right.
Okay.
That's the one.
Well, do you have the charging document handy?
Sure. Which one's that? Which one?
It's 2 pages. It's literally just, I mean, it's
Okay,
literally
let
one
me
that's,
get
they look identical, but one says count 1, one says count
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 is kidnapping.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I was just testing you guys. Okay, so had a feeling it was 1 or 2. Okay, so that's 2. There's 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you guys want to see.
Yeah, can one of you guys read that since I don't have a copy of it to read?
Yeah.
I can't. I have to
Yeah,
pull it up
Adam,
on my phone.
That's okay.
If you can, I'll let you
Yeah,
because I can pull it up on my
absolutely.
phone.
Listen
Or
to
if
this.
you message it to me, I can read it off a messenger.
I'll do it. Mel likes to hear my voice anyway. 1 second here.
Okay.
Okay, this one's for you, Mel. Nicholas C. McClellan, being first duly sworn upon his oath. Okay, I'll stop. Says that on or about February 13, 2017, the county of Carroll, the state of Indiana, Richard M. Allen did kill another human being, to wit, victim 1, while committing and attempting to commit kidnapping of victim 1, all of which is contrary to the form of the statute in such cases, and provided to wit IC 3542-1-1, number 2, and is against the peace and dignity of the state of Indiana. I affirm underneath the penalty of perjury that the foregoing presentations are true. Okay.
Yeah, see that they're charging with murder in correlation to the kidnapping, and I think that's what they're going to put their strongest evidence on, because I have a feeling they're going to have issues with the bullet evidence when that gets to court.
Well, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time, Lewis?
I said I think they're going to put, or most of the evidence they have is going to corroborate the kidnapping charge leading to the murder, because I don't think they're going to have some. I think they're going to have some issues with some of the evidence they have to try to connect them to the actual murder part of the crime. I think that might be something that becomes an issue, or a bigger hill to get over for them.
Hey, Copper.
I have a feeling that the bullet evidence is going to be something that becomes a problem.
And we'll get into that definitely. In relation to the kidnapping aspect. So my understanding of the legal definition of kidnapping is when you take a victim from one place to another, at least 20 or 50 feet away. I can't remember which it was. So I mean, it doesn't have to be a far distance. It's really just forcibly making someone leave the location they're at and go to another location at least 20 or 50, whichever it is, feet away from the original location. That can constitute as kidnapping. And when he's seen on that video, like it says in the affidavit, ordering the girls down the hill, and then the video ends as they begin to walk down the hill, apparently, to me is all the evidence they need to get the conviction for the kidnapping, at least.
I think you're right. I think that the proving the kidnapping is, if they can prove it's him on the bridge ordering them down the hill, then that's a done charge. That's easy to prove. I have questions about this bullet evidence. That bothers me, but there's a precedent case. I can't remember the case name to reference it, but
Tibbs.
Was that the one in 19?
Yes, the versus United States. It was the Superior Court of D.C. Sonny sent it to me last night, so I looked into it quite a bit.
I sent it through yesterday, so it's probably the same one. There's quite a bit there that worries me, because
before we get into the before we get into the bullet stuff,
sure.
I see a lot of people in the chat that are asking about the IMEI, and I just want to clarify that an IMEI number is, the easiest analogy I can make is that it's like a VIN number on a vehicle for an individual, for an actual device, like a cell phone. And the fact that his phone didn't have an IMEI is not odd, because it had an MEID, which is basically the same thing. So either a phone is going to have an IMEI or an MEID, depending on what kind of phone it is and service it is, or like service provider it is. When I looked up that specific phone, I believe it was I have it here. I have so many screenshots. That was just from earlier today too. But yeah, so I believe he had a just like a vehicle has a VIN number. Each mobile device has a unique serial number. These can be called an ESN, an MEID, MEIE, or an IMEI, depending on your device and carrier. So that's all the difference between those things mean. So it just was alluding to the actual make and model of the phone that he was carrying that day, which I believe to have been an LG Optimus G. But I have to verify that again, because I was in the middle of work when I was trying to look it up.
Yeah. If you were on Sprint back in 17,
Which
most
is what
LG phones had MEID numbers on them.
Yeah.
Right on
which
the
is now
phone
T-Mobile.
itself. Yeah.
But at the time it would have been Sprint. So that's all the IMEI thing meant. It's just it's basically just like a serial number based for an individual hardware device, cell phone. So it has nothing to do with a SIM card.
No, because you can change SIM cards. That MEID number is actually on the back of the LG phones.
Right.
When you get them from Sprint. Other manufacturers, you have to pull it up in the phone, but
right.
LG,
Well, yeah,
Sprint, yeah.
I'm sorry, Lewis, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine to say. I know from personal experience that LG and Sprint would always put that on the back of the phone with a sticker. And
Okay.
the reason that became an issue sometimes is because if you had a case on it, that sticker would wear off. And if you went in to have warranty work done, they replaced the phone. That would be a different number on the new phone. But yeah, it's
Right.
it's not it's insignificant, the difference of how they identify the number that you're getting from the phone.
Right. And I know that for anyone that has an iPhone, if you ever want to know what your IMEI number is, just hit General and go to Settings, hit General, hit About, and it'll tell you right here your serial number, which will be your IMEI number. If I know your so like my phone is an iPhone. I don't know if you can't read that because of the glare, but I have an IMEI number and an MEID number.
I'll show you too a Sprint phone from 2018.
And
I don't know if this will work, but
yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, we're seeing green
no,
screen.
it's blocking it. But you can sort of see the sticker when I put it up there. That little sticker that pops up there, that white sticker, that is the MEID number off of a LG phone from 2018.
Okay. Yep. So I hope that clears up the IMEI thing versus an MEID thing. I did find it interesting that they left that in the probable cause affidavit, considering it's such a identifying piece. That it shows you his exact phone. But
I was shocked they didn't block out the last four of his social.
Well, okay. I'll just ask. Okay. So we're going to talk about the bullet and the gun.
Yeah, if you guys are ready to get into that, we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just wanted to address that.
No, I'm just seeing people's comments now, and they're talking about that. So okay, so let's talk about it because Lewis, we were talking last night about it. I even seen what's his name, Mark Lopez, talking about it, even though he's not an expert in it, and he could only find 2 cases with it. So, I mean, I think a lot of people have heard it today, but we'll talk about. Remember again how you said that about the extraction. So let's talk about that first and explain that.
Yeah, that I'm wondering if they're using extraction as a generic term, because extraction marks are usually on the back next to where the charge is and the firing pin would hit. And then the ejection marks are usually left on the side of the shell when it ejects it out. So I'm wondering if they didn't match up, ejection marks and just the extraction marks were there, or if they're using it as a generic term for both. It makes me wonder on that, because one is a strike and one of them is contact from the side. But
yeah,
I don't think it's going to really matter though, because it's real hard to get non-conflicting testimony on confirming whether that's an exact science or not. I mean, it's nowhere near as accurate as a fingerprint. It's not like you're looking for striation marks from a barrel. You're looking for contact marks from a solid piece of metal. And that would be like taking a hammer that had no real issues and hitting something just off the edge and trying to say it's the same mark. If there's wear in that gun, had a lot of fire on it, then you might get those marks. But now they're testing the gun almost 6 years later. How many times was it fired from then to now? I mean, I think that they'll be able to tear that up in court. You know, not that I want them to have a stronger defense. I predict that becoming an issue.
You know, and and it could. I mean, because like I said, I was unfamiliar with the United States versus Tibbs case until you brought it to Sonny's attention last night, and then I looked into it, and I'll be honest, it was a 57-page ruling, so I got a little bored halfway through.
It was a long, complicated read, but it was worth it for me. But yeah, I can understand it's not the average person is going to get through that document. So if you made it halfway through, I give you credit.
I mean, and then I read a couple articles about it as well. But to me, the most interesting thing was, I mean, I feel kind of 50-50 on it, because I understand that, yes, some courts, some not very many, but a few courts have used that case in their defense, but not many. So it's not been a widely used. It's not been a widely used case when ruling a case by a defense. I myself wasn't quite sure when I read it, because when it said United States versus Tibbs, I was like, was this a federal case or is this a state case? But because it was in the District of Columbia, I even had to look into what the Superior Court of DC is, because DC always confuses me, because it's not a state, but it's not complete. So this is basically a local court. The Superior Court of DC is a local court that has jurisdiction in the District of Columbia. So while a judge can use it as case law, anywhere, it wasn't brought higher up to the Court of Appeals or anything, to my knowledge, and so I didn't know how it would be, applied to Indiana state law. Because some people called it junk science, some people called it, credible. But it also, the whole case, is involving a bullet that was shot out of a gun. Whereas then, I think it could easily be argued by the prosecution, well, this doesn't fit that case because we're talking about an unspent casing.
Yeah.
So, to me, I find it 50-50 as far as it could be argued, or it could just fall flat on his face.
It depends on the judge, but then it opens up an issue for appeals too. So.
Mm-hmm. Wait, okay. So I just want to get to a couple things that are being said quickly. So Alexa's saying, Lewis, are you talking about the striations, I guess, in an unspent bullet?
No. I think striations have more weight than the markings they're talking about. They're talking about extraction markings, which would be on the back edge of the actual shell, that lip where it's retained inside the weapon. There's almost like a metal slide that would hit it there and would leave it a small indentation. And they mention extraction in the document. But then there's ejection marks, which are left on the side of the shell, and that's what shoots it out of the side of the barrel when it's open. So when you pull the gun back, two things happen. It leaves a mark in the back as it pulls the shell over, and then the other thing comes out, ejects it out of the actual weapon. They don't mention ejection marks, so I'm just wondering if they're using extraction as a generic term for both, or if they didn't actually have ejection marks on the shell, and they just have that little dimple mark in the back.
Okay. Now, I want to take one step back on this. So, the bullet at the crime scene. Remember when we were talking about it again last night?
Yeah.
And you were saying, okay, so actually I'll let you take it over, because remember how you were saying you cocked it, but or pulled it out, but didn't probably use it when the thing was saying that she had a gun, but it was probably cocked or whatever you want to call it, racked or whatever.
I guess the most reference term for that would be how everyone says you should get a shotgun for home protection, because most people, when they hear you rack that shotgun, get scared and they would leave because it's an intimidating sound. Well, with an semi-automatic handgun, same thing. When you pull the slide back to make that noise, that scares people. It shows that you actually have a weapon and you're probably going to use it. But if there's one round in the chamber when you pull back to do that, the extractor hits it and then the ejector arms throw it out. So it could have been one in the chamber already, and he pulled it back to scare them with the noise, and the round was ejected out. Or it could have been it jammed. He could have tried to fire, and it didn't actually fire. And at that point, he would have then pulled it back, and it would have shot out. But I have a feeling that if that was the case, they would not mention just extraction marks. They would be looking for the marks on the primer in the back from that actual hammer hitting it if it just didn't go off. Or it could have been he went to cock it, it jammed, the spring got stuck, so he'd yank it back again, and the round fell out. So, I mean, I'm more thinking he had one in the chamber, and he went to scare them with the sound and pulled it back, and,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you kind of answered what I was asking, but kind of not either.
Okay.
So what I was saying was a lot of people probably are still thinking that somehow like that, probably that bullet casing came out at the end of the bridge, where it was probably that when Abby said, or Libby said that he has a gun, he probably just pulled it out, but didn't rack it back. But when he did rack it back, or whatever you want to call it, that was done at the crime scene, hence why the bullet would have been there instead of at the south end of the bridge, because at first we were talking about maybe it fell out, put it in his pocket or something in his pocket, but it actually makes more sense that he probably just pulled out the gun. Libby said he has a gun because obviously Abby's facing the opposite way. And when he actually went to rack it, it was probably like, get down, type of thing. And that's probably why that's probably the most likely reason why it's at the crime scene there. Now, getting back into it, I see there's that little debate going on where Kristen behind the crime door, she thinks that the bullet is a very strong piece of evidence. He admitted to being there, et cetera, et cetera. And Mel's like, yeah, but, we had this conversation yesterday where cases have been thrown out because that's not deemed as credible, reliable evidence. And so that's what I wanted to talk about because there is a debate. I mean, obviously, and chances are there's probably going to be a fingerprint on this, bullet, because obviously someone had to put it in, and unless he wiped it all down. But anyways, so go back to that, if we could, Lewis, about what we were talking about last night, about the cases like Adam was just talking about, and about, you said about something about the government over there.
Yeah, I sent you a picture too. I don't know if it came through.
Sure, let me take a look.
So people can have an idea of what we're talking about, because I don't think anyone's put up pictures of what the different marks are.
Let me just, okay.
I'm going to send you a second one too, so don't close out a messenger yet.
Okay, well, send it to me first and then I'll do it.
Yeah, it should be through now.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah. Because we keep talking about this, but I don't think anyone understands what they're talking about, so.
Just gonna do it this way, makes it easier.
Yeah. I couldn't screenshot them, it wouldn't let me, so I just send it as
I just screenshotted them myself instead. Okay, so let me open this back up. Let me bring those in. Okay, so which one do you want to see first?
Might as well use this one. The other one just shows the mark better, but this one actually labels it so people can get an idea of what's what. But just so they can see, I mean,
Yeah.
What I find odd is they're only mentioning, like on here it shows ejector marking on the right. See that mark on the right side there next to the P? And that's the thing that would kick out sideways to eject it out, and that's what I think they mean when they say extractor mark. So they're trying to match up that with the metal in the gun that actually would do that. What I find really odd is they didn't mention any of the information about where the date and stuff of the actual round is, and if they were able to match that up with any ammo that he had at the house or in a box or what was in the gun currently. So that makes me wonder about that. But you can see the manufacturing mark, and then you've got the year manufacturer and stuff. But that mark on the right, the ejector mark, that is what I think they're referring to by the extraction marks. And that would be what they were comparing to what his gun left on another round when they, ejected a round out of it.
Okay.
I said I've not seen anybody put up any pictures showing what the marks look like, so I thought that might help people out. And then this one, it's on the top at the 12-hour mark, right above the end of that W.
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. They matched up with what his gun left on another round, and it was comparable to the round that was found there.
Okay.
So you've got one reference point leaving a mark. Now, in 6 years, if that gun was never fired again, you might have an exact marking. But if that gun was fired, 100, 200, 500 times, you might get a different impression because you're striking brass with harder metal, but you do still get wear over time. So that's why I think they might be able to not use that in court. Or if they do bring it up,
Yeah, and what Carol said is exactly what you have said, Lewis, to me as well. And what I've seen. Many lawyers and judges deemed gun stuff unreliable science. That's perfect verbiage I was looking for, because that's exactly what I've seen. And it says, particularly when it hasn't gone through the gun and the Sig Sauer is manufactured on a large scale.
Right.
Correct. So it's one of those things, like even when Mark Lopez pulled it up, he said he could find 2 cases wherever an unspent, casing or bullet was used or round was used. And then again, you have it where you were showing me cases yesterday, where those ones the judge, whatever. So if you have a good defense team, whatever, like just meaning it, just because the bullet's there, I think we know a case so long, just because the bullet's there doesn't necessarily mean that it can be used as evidence if it's deemed as not reliable science.
Junk science, as people would say.
Junk science is the layman's terms for it. Now, what you usually hear about in court for matching a bullet up to a gun is striation marks from a fired round, and that's because as the round fires, the actual bullet goes through the chamber and the barrel leaves marks on it as it spins. Those are more identifiable than marks on an ejector.
Right. So yeah, and everyone's seeing the totality of the evidence, which is true. I think all of us can agree we want nothing more than for this to be an easy conviction for law enforcement. But it is easy to it is important to note that a smart defense team would jump on this as something they would argue in a pretrial motion in order to get it not to be allowed as evidence, which would be a blow to the prosecution's case. I hope that's not going to be the case. I don't think it will, but you never know. I would be surprised if they didn't try. This judge, though, she doesn't seem like she seems one that when she makes a decision, she stands by it. So
the good thing is, and the bad thing are the same thing with her, though. She's got to follow the law. And if they can prove something legally on the defense side to exclude something, she's going to have to go with that because she's a very fair judge.
Right.
She's got a lot of experience. She follows the law to the letter, and that's the problem. If the prosecution's case is weaker,
Right.
they're going to take
But
advantage thinking that they can.
like I said, that there's not a lot of case law either way as far as as far as this is concerned, and the majority of judges, because they're not forensics experts either, they typically will then rely on the decision of other courts, and the majority of other courts have ruled in favor of these gun experts and DNA, gun forensic experts, being credible. So while some people do say that it's junk science, the majority of cases in courts allow it into testimony because it isn't, because it is something that a lot of people don't understand. So they refer to the experts. I mean, that's not me saying it. That's just that's
exactly
that's the statistics that are being used in court.
And that's why I said it could either hurt or help, because you don't know what they're going to produce as evidence, and being a fair judge, she's going to have to go with whatever the strong argument is.
Right.
I hope the strong argument is on the prosecution side if they're correct.
Yeah.
And there's even less case law when it comes to an extracted shell.
That's what worries me, is because they're saying extraction marks. Striation marks are a lot easier to prove. What they're saying here, they have an easier argument to disprove those marks than they do to prove them, and that's worrying. That's why I said I hope that most of their case is based on the kidnapping aspect, because it seems that they don't have much evidence towards the murder, because the only thing listed that puts him actually at the crime scene is this bullet. Everything else is witness testimony, the stuff he said that he did. He admits to being at the bridge. He admits to being on the trails. He admits to being on the bench. Wow. So basically, the witnesses just are proving that, other than the one that noticed a guy walking that looked bloody and muddy. But
right. We do have, while this has always been, said to me, quote, not a DNA or fingerprint case, as of the 13th of October, they towed his car, and I'm assuming they recovered jackets from his house, and maybe there's a maybe there is something on that bullet, or maybe they found DNA in his vehicle, or maybe they found DNA on that jacket. So
I just wish that
things
they
that we
would.
might. So when things we might not have been aware of, and that were not an aspect of this case before he was arrested, could easily become a huge part of the case now that they have him.
Yeah, and I said that I think they would have listed a print on that unfired bullet, the unfired round, if that was there. But since that's not listed, that worries me a little bit, because I mean, there's so much contact with when you're loading a magazine, that if you were planning something in advance, I would think that somebody would use gloves if they knew what they were going to do. And that would put him on the smarter side and cause premeditation. Whereas if he's not that sharp, I think that's something that they would have actually put as harder evidence for the arrest.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just, my fingers are crossed that when they process his car, and they run the testing on that jacket, and now that they have Rich Allen, maybe they can tie him to the murder weapon. Maybe they can tie him to other aspects of his case that they couldn't before. If he did take something from each of the girls, even though it's not in the affidavit, like we were told in the Ron Logan search warrant, that items were taken from the girls, maybe they did recover something from his home that tied him directly to the BNI.
Because we can't forget, you guys, there's knives that are there. There's not only just a knife in the victims, whatever. There's knives around that ground and that. So if he was a collector of knives and they could find a receipt that he purchased these knives and these things ended up at the scene or something like that too, there's probably a lot of different things. I mean, I'm one of those ones, first of all and foremost, so even though Mark Lopez was talking about, that probably they were embarrassed to release that PC because of how weak it is. you know.
It should have been.
But he thought more, it's not so much because of the embarrassment to themselves as much as it's how weak that the PC was. But I would like to think that there's going to be so much more coming. Like, even though I was let down by the whole Suzanne Morphew case, I was totally let down by that case. And I sure hope the same thing does not happen for Abby and Libby. So I really hope that there is a very, like a substantial amount more that they will tie him to it. But again, if they're going for number 2, though, Louis, aren't you saying that they can't really, it's because they can't really probably tie him directly to doing it?
If they're linking the murder to the crime of kidnapping, that is an easier charge to prove if they don't have evidence of him actually committing the murder. Because if the death was in, direct correlation to what they can prove happened, that's why it still makes you wonder if there is a second person involved, who committed the murder if they did. But at that point, I'm hoping by going this route, it's an easier case to prove to get him convicted if he's responsible for any of the, things leading up to the murders. So, I mean, think of it as like bank robbery. If you're the guy driving the getaway car and somebody in the bank shoots the guard and he comes out, jumps in the car, and you have no idea what happened, they're going to charge you with this type of a charge because you were involved in the crime. The object there is to get everybody involved in the crime charged with the most devastating part of the crime's outcome. And that's what it looks like here. They're not charging him directly with murder, which tells me that the murder case is not as strong as the correlation to the
He was charged with murder. He was charged directly with murder.
Yeah, but the way they've got it charged is different than a regular charge of murder.
He's charged with 2 counts of murder. Indiana doesn't have second degree manslaughter.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. They've got him with that 2 at the end, which correlates it to another crime. So he's being charged with murder in correlation to kidnapping.
Right, which is not surprising. I mean, I think they'll add on as many charges as possible. Because they also want something to play with when it comes to possibly getting a plea, possibly doing other things. They always add those throwaway charges on there. Not that kidnapping will be a throwaway charge, because that'll be something they easily convict him on. But my point was just that we know what evidence has been put out in the affidavit relating to why he was arrested. We don't know the totality of the evidence they have against him. We don't know what evidence they've collected against him since the affidavit was written. We don't know what they found in his car. We don't know what they found on his jacket. We don't know a million things that could directly tie him to physically being, the killer, which I believe he is. And I think law enforcement is confident he is as well. Whether other people are involved, I think he is the killer.
But still, he might be the killer, but they had to go to level 2, right? Even though I know you're saying that Indiana doesn't have it, but probably their strongest case is what they're doing.
Well, we'll find out what they do when they get more information in February, because that's when they're going to have to put down their best information forward.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to present a partial case in order to either not do bond or give a reason why the bond's going to be where it's set. The most discovery we're going to hear will be at that hearing.
Yeah.
Louis, earlier you put a couple questions to me in Messenger, and you said, how did FBI and GBI overlook his interview in 2017? And then he said he parked at the building.
That
right.
I mean, they had Georgia, the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigations, overlook everything to try to get new eyes on here. And if this folder existed with all this information back in 17, and it was missed by every department in Indiana plus the FBI, and now you've got a whole other state's investigation team looking at it with a fine-tooth comb, I just don't understand how this never came up earlier. That's very odd to me.
I know, considering they asked about a vehicle.
We now know that he actually went in and spoke with law enforcement. It wasn't just him talking to a guy out by the bridge that, worked for conservation. He actually went in and spoke to them. So that, it worries me why this wasn't gone through earlier. I don't understand that at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, it should. It should worry everyone.
Well, and
Yeah,
what's with the three different? But what about the three different, like the PTA Cruiser, a smart car, and this, that? It's like
that's another goofy one. But people look at vehicles and they get them wrong. But those are specific vehicles named, and that's kind of an odd thing.
PTA Cruiser does not look like anything else.
Well, I mean, no. When you look at a hatchback version of a Focus, it can.
I'd have to see what is it? 2016 Focus?
Is it? He drove. He had.
I think the sport wagon would be a ZX3. I think, I'm not sure. I think that the 3-door hatch is a ZX3, but I'd have to double check.
We're talking about a car versus a PTA Cruiser. Right?
But they made a Ford Focus hatchback, which was like a little sport-looking wagon.
Okay.
Right. It almost looked like a crossover, like kind of the size of which could be thought of as because it's a little bubblier. So it could have been, I understand someone thinking it was a smart car.
I can understand a smart car.
Or a small SUV or a PT Cruiser, because they're all ugly.
Well, PT
Don't
Cruisers,
insult the PT Cruiser.
They are ugly, and I think
they're not ugly.
I hate them every time I see them. I think that they take me back to 1970 or something like that.
Interestingly enough, who owns a PT Cruiser?
I own two.
Linda Klein.
I don't see it. Oh, yeah. To me, those don't look like any regular car vehicle or hatchback vehicle to me.
A purple one.
A distinctly ugly vehicle. Whenever I see them coming.
Honestly, they are not ugly. I disagree.
You can disagree. A PTA Cruiser, you guys, when I was working at the glass store, the optical store here, okay, a PTA Cruiser pulls up, 2 guys get out, smack the door, go for the sunglasses, freaking drop the crowbars, or freaking getting in after run back, take off in their PTA Cruiser. And I'm like, really? To me, that was just as bad as when a snowmobile robbed us at the hotel in a freaking snowmobile. He drives up in his snowmobile, robs the front desk, pulls out his gun, got his freaking snowmobile stuff on, and then hops back on his snowmobile. And then the guy had the nerve to actually come sit there and gamble still in the hotel at the VLT machines. Craziest stuff ever. Crazy stuff.
So I don't know if you wanted to. I sent you a Wish TV thing about a gun. Someone they had a gun expert on there talking about the Unspent casing. I don't know if you want to play the art. I haven't watched it myself. Someone just sent it to me.
Sure, I can do it.
Jumpin' Jack Flash. That would be Tony Klein's mom.
Tony Klein's.
I just found that interesting. I did just find I couldn't help but find that interesting that and that I believe Kagan's mom also may have driven a PT Cruiser, but I do know that Linda Klein's was purple.
Still ugly. Hey, Lewis,
so if you want to go down that rabbit hole, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know what time frame she owned that car?
During the time frame we're discussing.
What she did?
No.
Was it a convertible or a Ford?
That I don't know. She lived on county. Oh, country. Wait. Oh my goodness. Paul Pike Road, which was.
The reason I'm asking is in 2018 or 2019, I bought a purple PT GT convertible from somebody that lived close to Delphi.
Well, this would have been Peru, but because she lived on Paul Pike, and which Linda Klein still does. But
Linda Klein.
Yeah, and that was about a mile and a half from Country Club Road, where Kagan's phone logged into the Wi-Fi that day. Like I said, not to go down another rabbit hole, but I did find it interesting.
Yeah. We don't need any rabbit holes, too many snake holes. Okay, are you ready to let me play this?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'll see you back in.
Yeah, I've not watched it, so someone just
2
sent it to
minutes
me.
and 11 seconds. It looks like.
Thank you to the person that sent it to me.
I said thank you to the person, but I was muted.
Piece of evidence in the case against Richard Allen in the Delphi murders. Police believe an unfired bullet at the crime scene links Allen to the 2017 deaths. But how reliable is that type of evidence? iTeammate's Cody Fisher went to a gun expert to find out.
The gun expert I'm speaking with tells me it is possible to link an unspent round to a specific gun, but it's also something that can be challenged in court.
This is a .40 caliber Sig Sauer Model P226. According to the prosecution, it's the same model of gun Richard Allen has, linking him to an unspent round found between the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017. This gun was loaded with fake rounds to show what it takes to eject an unspent round.
You have the extractor of a gun, which is a little claw that sits inside the slide of a semi-automatic firearm.
Guy Relford is a gun range instructor and a defense attorney who handles gun cases exclusively. He says there are a few reasons why an unspent round might be ejected.
It could be a malfunction. It could be to induce fear in someone.
A gun makes an imprint on the round when it's ejected, whether it's spent or unspent.
When that little metal claw made contact with this metal shell casing, part of the cartridge, it left a mark.
According to Relford, each gun leaves its own unique signature on a casing when it's ejected.
It's been accepted in courts that with the right level of magnification and the right analysis, it can be as conclusive as fingerprints.
Just because the probable cause affidavit says the unspent round belonged to Allen's gun doesn't mean it is. Even the police affidavit calls the bullet identification subjective in nature. Relford says that could come down to expert witness testimony about how the round was analyzed and the level of magnification used to look at it.
You could very easily have defense experts say it's not as reliable and it's not as conclusive. And shouldn't be the basis for a jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt that someone committed a crime.
Relford tells me that if Richard Allen's attorneys can prove scientifically that the unspent round did not come from Allen's gun, it would completely change where this case could go. Reporting in Indianapolis, Cody Fisher, Wish TV, iTeam8.
I'm Dylan. I'm Noah with Complete Confidence.
Okay. So, there you go. So
I sent you a picture of a purple two-door, just in case people don't know what that looks like. Should have gone through on Messenger.
yeah, I seen it. Is this yours?
Well, not anymore, but yeah. I've owned probably 15 of them.
And they're still ugly.
Lewis, can we judge you for that?
Yeah, can we judge you?
Yeah,
you made 15 bad car decisions. I'm kidding.
No, actually, they've been one of the best cars. I own quite a bit of them. But they're fun cars. They're comfortable. But that's what a convertible looks like. Most people think of the wagons. So when they say a purple PT Cruiser, if they meant a convertible PT Cruiser, that looks a lot more like a Focus from the side, even though it doesn't look a lot. That could be more like a ZX3.
Huh. Still ugly.
I'd never confused the cars, but you know,
I was gonna say
depends on the person.
I was gonna say like I could never confuse that to myself.
I would never either, but it looks more like a ZX3. If it was a 3-door hatchback, that would be closer in size. But yeah.
To answer Jumpin' Jack Flash, I don't know if there's a photo of it on Facebook. I had it back in my files from when we started going into the Kleins, which feels like a million years ago. But yeah, it's also important to note that Tony Klein did not keep his vehicles all at his house. He kept them at his parents' house. So, it would not be impractical to think that he could have left a car there and driven a different car hypothetically to somewhere on that day. But I just found it to be a little interesting rabbit hole if someone wanted to go down.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's worth looking into.
Right. Just
I
that one
had-
missing piece.
Right, the one piece. Heather, you know what? I would not be worried because I wouldn't really like the bullet. To me, I'm kind of hoping that they have a lot more. I'm sure, like they do. So I'm kind of hoping that the bullet is more of an add-on, kind of like that add-on to more evidence to prove that he was, there.
And, that,
Yeah.
and that's the point I was making earlier when I said that they're charging him with in connection to another crime. So that makes me think that they've got evidence and proof of the other crime as like strong evidence. And I'm hoping that that is enough to put the case through where things like bullet exclusion from, evidence is not an issue if it ever happens.
To me, at the end of the day, I'm glad that they had the casing because it allowed them to get the probable cause affidavit. And
exactly.
They then recovered the gun from his house. They recovered the jackets from his house, knives, guns, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully they've been able to get DNA out of that car. Because if he was muddy and bloody when he was walking back to that car, and presumably he then got in the car and drove home.
One sec, my cat.
I'm just gonna, venture to say his Ford Focus did not have leather seats, so a fabric seat is going to hold blood or mud even for 6 years. Whether it be in the floorboards, whether it be on the seats, whether it be somewhere, that there's going to be DNA in that vehicle.
Did they say what model it was, the Focus that he had?
No, I have pictures of it. It's the hatchback version. And he also had a Ford 500.
Yeah.
And a truck. Did Sunny abandon us?
I don't know.
I didn't hear her say she was leaving. So
no, normally she does. So I don't know if maybe she had an issue with. I mean, it still shows her up. But
yeah, Kiwi. I did not tip that in, but I know that it has been tipped in. So
said I was going to go let my cat out to you guys, but neither of you heard me, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
I would have had to have listened, Sonny.
That's all good. It's all good.
And Kristen, I agree. They of course they have more evidence. They never put the whole case in the PCA. Like we've always said, like if we listen to Doug Carter about the tentacles and other actors, if other people do tie into this, that wouldn't be in the PCA. So, your intent is to put all of the evidence that you need to get a judge to sign that affidavit. You wouldn't want to then allude to other people being involved in an affidavit because it could provide doubt for the judge to sign the affidavit. Analyst said, yeah, Chrysto does make the PT Cruiser, so maybe Tony got a nice little discount on that for his mom.
What color is her PT Cruiser? Did you say was it purple?
Hers or Robin's was purple. I can't remember off the top of my head. One of them was purple. I think that Linda's was purple.
I think that I hope that they would know that.
I know it's been tipped in.
Okay.
Ben said, do they have to release more at the bail hearing? Yes, they will release more at the bail hearing because they're going to have to present. The prosecution is going to have to present some of their case, and they're going to have to provide discovery, which we're going to, that's when we'll get a lot of the evidence. That's when we'll get the really good stuff, hopefully. And then you also get the witness lists, which I'm assuming the minors names will be redacted. I don't know how that'll play out when it comes to court because I'm not a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. You guys, I just want to go a few more minutes here, and then it's already at an hour and 40. Just want to do about an hour and a half today on there. So we'll a few more minutes, answer a few more questions, eh? Do you guys have anything more specific that you guys wanted to talk about?
Does anyone in the chat have any questions or anything that that you'd like us to answer if we can, or speculate on.
Lunch?
Yeah, that's why I was laughing.
SP said, what's in the car would react to luminol, but the DNA could be degraded. Yeah, of course it could be degraded. But I mean, I've seen them get DNA or blood samples out of cars from luminol and things like that from much longer than 6 years.
See, I remember what we talked about earlier, saying that bothered me, not just the other departments not picking up on it. All this time they've said they want to know about the person in the car that was parked there. And it looks like when they interviewed him originally, he said that's where he parked. And that just bothers me. You've got somebody admitting to parking there at that time, and there weren't any other vehicles parked there.
Yeah.
And they've always said that they knew everything except who, and they want to know who was in the car. But somebody told them who was in the car because he admits to being there and parking there.
He also admitted to wearing the clothing that BG was wearing.
Yeah.
And then not only did he admit to being at the on the trails that day, at the time relevant to the murders, he admitted to it 3 times that we know of. He admitted to it in 2017. He admitted to it on October 13th, 2022. And he admitted to it again on October 26th, 2022. This man 3 times told law enforcement, I was there fitting the witness descriptions by my own account, looking at fish 3 times.
And then that in itself is damning. But the one piece that they've asked for over and over again was who was parked in that car. And now we know that he said that he parked there. So that's right. Just very disturbing. That really is.
So I want to go to a question here because this is one of my things. Todd says, what about the headphones? So tell me, why would the BG have on, besides the plethora of other things, why would he have on headphones? The microphone. Why? Why would somebody just have, they're going to go do something. Just keep out anything else. Why would you have on headphones with the mic and, something in front of his face?
Well, his explanation of what he did while he was there is telling too. He walked there, he went to the first platform, stood there waiting, then he went sat down on a bench. That tells me he's there waiting for somebody to either get a hold of him or to show up. That doesn't say I went to look at fish. You don't just stand there and then sit down and wait. It's that's
okay, right? But you literally though did not answer my question.
Well, I mean, if he was communicating with somebody and he had headphones and a headset on to talk on his phone or whatever communication device, somebody could be telling him, they just pulled up, they're just getting out of the car now.
Dude, your fish stock's just gone up. Oh, that's probably.
Well, no, those are his stock. Those were his stocks that he's the stock market.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, we discussed that earlier.
He was looking at the stock market, and then he got to the bridge and started looking at the fish. Which when I was told that quote, I was like, and then when I read it in there, I was like, oh my gosh, that actually was his alibi to Ellie that he was looking at fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the quote exactly that I was given in October.
Mm-hmm. I want chat to understand. I want chat to tell me, because he clearly has a headset on. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about a headset that's on his head. So why would anyone have a headset with a microphone on their head? There's really only a couple explanations for it, but one of them is the most common sense, which is because he was talking to somebody else. It's because he was communicating with somebody else. I'm pretty sure he wasn't bebopping there with music going down there, because he could have been. I don't know why you would have a microphone though, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know yet, but it doesn't shock me that there's some sort of, it wouldn't shock me if that was a voice changer in front of his mouth, because it's clearly, I can see it in front of his mouth. That black piece, I see it all the time, and it bugs me because it's like you can kind of make it out and you can kind of see the little thing to it, but you can't fully make it out, and you're just like, dude, doesn't matter, you still got the headphones on.
Right.
Well, I mean, kind of the headphones is, to be on. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's, it's just that there's not many reasons why someone would have headphones on, and then you're going to go commit murder,
Right.
and yet there's somebody in black that's being talked about as well, and the witnesses have said, it's just,
right.
To me, it's
which
just
it is important. It is important to keep in mind that the witness, because the three of those girls were together when they gave the script that when they encountered the man. So I mean, it could be as simple as that just one of the girls was not paying attention and her recollection was completely different. That would not be unheard of for a witness.
No, that part would not be unheard of. But
especially when you're a young girl and you look at some guy that's middle-aged, you're not going to give him a second glance.
Yeah.
So your memory of him is going to be probably nothing more than he's old.
Point is that, someone's wearing headphones,
right,
while they're going to, commit murder and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even include the other things he has on, right? Headset, it's one of those things that it's more likelier that there was a communication with somebody else. I'm sure he wasn't, unless he thought that he was going to listen to tunes and, hey, I'm just going to go commit a couple murders today. I mean, he's done stupider things, like say that he was wearing a blue jacket and jeans and he was parked
and
here.
kept it.
And I mean, there's been stupider things. For all we know, he might just say, yeah, I was just listening to music,
right.
just listening to
so
music.
He kept the jacket.
Cameras meant nothing.
Maybe he was communicating with someone that then maybe hypothetically through the phone that they were using in the Wabash River.
Perhaps, right?
And then it was recovered in the Wabash River search. Perhaps.
Yeah. Perhaps. Exactly. Okay. A couple more questions and then we're going to get heading off here. Let's see. There was somebody up here that says, so Alexa, don't blame RA for making such a stupid lie. I blame the officer who spoke to RA. Right. Absolutely, Alexa, on that, by the way. It really is pitiful when you look at what was really right there. And if it can miss this person and that person, there was just so many things. Like, it doesn't, you almost feel embarrassed now going back in hindsight, watching these interviews, when they ask about the vehicle that was at the CPS building, and remember they just stopped asking about it. Like, what was all that about then? Because they, but it almost makes you feel stupid listening to it all. Okay, like who's on the bridge with blue jeans and, I don't know, like that. So now, in saying that, when he saw his butt on the video, when Richard Allen saw himself on the video, I mean, and then I guess if people have kind of placed him there, I mean, I guess he kind of had to admit that he was wearing the blue jacket and blue jeans. And like, I mean, did he go in and go, you know what, that's me on the bridge? Because they asked the person to come forward that was on the bridge. And so he did. He did say he was on the bridge.
After he was approached. Yeah, after he was approached by law enforcement.
I know, but that's the whole thing. They keep showing this man on the bridge for 5.5 years, and he legitly says, I was on the bridge.
Right.
That's me.
He put himself as far out as the first. He put himself out as far as the first plank, or as far as the first side, what's that called?
For 5 years, we need your help, people. We need your. I mean, he was sitting there going, "Oh, told you I was there." But okay, you idiots obviously didn't listen to that, or the fact that I was parked at the CPS building either. So it's just almost embarrassing when you look at it like that.
Almost. It is embarrassing, and it should be.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I support law enforcement wholeheartedly. And it hurt. Like even 24 hours later, I'm like, it's still hard for me to criticize them. But at the end of the day, I can't get over the fact, like I said last night and everything, that Richard Allen got to walk his daughter down the aisle in 2018, and Liberty German's sister got married this year, and she was 5.5 years dead, and that's not fair.
I think I found a picture of the initial interview.
I feel like it's something similar to this, because this is pretty much how it feels.
What I sent you?
Yeah. Larry Curly and Moe.
That was the original interview back in 2017.
Yeah. What? You saying that he was at the CPS building the whole time? Oh yeah, but he's not a suspect. Oh, you mean he was wearing? Oh, you mean he was literally on the? No, he's not the suspect.
Well, he said Farm Bureau, and that building wasn't Farm Bureau for many years. It was Farm Bureau beforehand, so it couldn't have been him.
What is this well said, Adam stuff? Every once in a while, Sonny says something smart too. You know.
I think he was just like saying because of what I said about the. Richard
No,
Allen.
I've seen it a few times in chat tonight. Well said, Adam. Well
Oh.
said. Well said, Lewis. Well said. Sonny needs it too. Like I don't just sit here and look pretty for you people.
That I just I mean, it's just a thought I
my
can't.
hair.
Yeah, it's just a thought I can't get out of my head though about the fact that like he got to go on with his life for 5.5 years and those girls did not.
Lewis, who is the eye poker?
Well, that's why they couldn't identify him from the video, because they got poked in the eye, and then he was just a blur.
Oh, look at all those typos in that sentence. Doesn't quite mean the same anymore, FP. It lost its moment. But thanks for trying, dude. Yeah. Sees through this officer didn't. Okay, go 8 more minutes. That'll be at the 2-hour mark. Sees through this officer.
Okay, Tom Webster.
Yeah. Right. That's what he said the other way. 22 minutes.
I think he kept waiting for me to join, but I wouldn't.
Is that what happened?
He was like 11 more minutes.
Yeah.
10 more minutes.
Oh, Adam's not coming. I think I'm just gonna give up. Yeah.
Even though he wasn't invited.
It was I mean, Murder Sheet's ditched, and then Fig's like, guess what? I gotta go too. Then next thing you know how somebody's face just pops right up on screen, and he's just like, oh wow. And then he's like, well, I was gonna invite people on, but maybe I shouldn't because I might get trolled. You can see, yeah, because right, you never trust people when you drop your link. Because you never know. Then you got to go edit your live, wait hours and hours and hours for it to upgrade, stuff like that. So.
He was talking about it. He's like, this is my 11th live, and I had to comment and tell him. I said, you're getting a little loose and fast with your live here.
Yeah.
you're just throwing them out all the time.
Mm-hmm. I know, right?
you gotta hold that close.
Yeah.
Have respect for yourself.
Let's see here. I'm just sitting there I'm popping over comments. I'm not even actually truly looking at them as I'm hitting them. It's like a mechanical thing after a while. You just start clicking on them. And some photos are his eyes look dark.
We've got 200 in chat right now. If everyone could just hit that thumbs up, we really appreciate it because it does help the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
appreciate it.
I do want to say something. When we do these, we're not doubting it's him. What we're doing is bringing up what the defense might do so people have a better idea.
I think he knows I just muted him.
Might have to deal with.
Well said, Lewis. Well said.
Right.
Totally muted you there for a second, dude.
I don't want people to think that we're cheerleading for him. We're just
not at
bringing
all.
up what could come up in trial, and that way people have an idea what to expect for later.
Everything about him disgusts me.
Oh yeah, honestly, yeah, I can't stand looking at his face now that they've arrested him.
Little roll face, like Rumpelstiltskin. He should be under that bridge, like as opposed to below. Thought there were 37 people under there. Richard Allen would have, he's like half a person. So,
do you know, you guys know I look at the crime scene all the time, right? And it is like, I was looking at it again today, and I'm seeing like with some different pictures. Yes, Yone. I was taking a look at some of the ones. Actually, I want to show you something. Or is my husband sneezing? Let me see if I got it here. As a matter of fact, did I? What did I do with it? Pretty sure I took a picture of it. Downloads. Do I not see it? I'm sure I took a picture of it. Huh. We're sure I took a picture of it. Oh, right here. Okay. So you see, you guys see this picture right there, right? Remember good old RT6 helicopter footage? Got the searchers in the water, right? So here's a clear example. You can, okay. Can anyone, I'm just going to ask you, can anyone tell me where the crime scene is on here? Because I can see it. I know where it is. Okay. Do you know where it is, Lewis? Anybody else? Anybody else know where that crime scene is on here? Just asking anyone in chat if anyone has any clue that they can see the crime scene. And then I'll point to it. Because all you have to do is look for Mr. Pancake Man. To the right of the man. Talking about Pancake Man. Carol. Okay. Yoni, this is a picture I had as well. But this is your picture I was looking at today. No clue. Show us. Exactly. Because most of you don't.
While people are answering that, I mean, really quickly, I just want to answer. Yoni, McClellan's term expires December 31st, 2022, but Mel, like she answered, is correct. His new term starts January 1st, 2023. I had asked that question yesterday as well, so I looked it up. And so it's just a matter of the fact that his term ends on the 31st of this year, but his new term, which he ran unopposed for, starts on the 1st of January 1st, 2023. So it was just a technicality as far as like that his term expires that day, but his new one starts the very next day. Sorry.
Nope, it's okay. So the crime scene is right here. It's right here. There's Pancake Man, right here. Okay, victims are both right here. Okay, there's an object there, but this is what you will see. But that's so where. Sorry. So pull that back out a little bit. So where they are here from the water's edge, they say it's about 50 feet or whatever.
But or anyway,
20. But this is the crime scene area right in here. Okay. And so I'm playing with it today, but you guys would think nothing about what I'm showing you here, so I'm not even going to bother, because that looks like nothing to you guys. It actually pretty much looks like nothing to me. But if I take it back out a little bit, then you guys can see, like, hey, Yoni, you can see that. I don't know if this is a camera pointing. I'm not sure what this is, but this is what I call Pancake Man. And Pancake Man actually isn't well, the pancake I probably think it is. All right. Anyways, you can see that there's clearly an object there, an object here. This is that thing that we were talking about the other day that looks like a barbecue on there. The girls are right here. And yeah, but again, it's just a matter of I don't do this on here typically. I typically do it on my iPad on Photo Express. That's one of the better apps, and some people use what's it called? Something seed, whatever it's called. Anyway, but that's where the crime scene is right there, and that's how it's legit. This is the searchers. This is the crime scene. It's in the same picture, and so that's why I know when I say that although it's not all these pictures, and yes, I wish that they would give me their freaking file too, to be honest with you on this stuff. What?
If they say Pancake Man in court,
Yeah, I know.
you deserve the reward money.
Yeah, it's a crime and shame called it a pancake man. And
I
bingo.
just want to hear Nick McClellan or Shane Evans.
Yeah.
Who's the only other name listed on that prosecutor thing. I'm like, but
yeah.
I'm like, wow. Of all the people in Carroll County, that he's the co-prosecutor. That was good though, Ben.
Yeah. They will show this. According to It's a Crime and Shame. The pancake man.
Imagine him just pulling that grease, just slicking back that greasy hair and using the point and saying, "Here you see the pancake man."
Yeah. So if it wasn't Richard Allen, it must have been the pancake man.
Strikes again.
There. Yeah. Joshua McDougall. I'm back. Had to herd cats. I locked mine out of the bedroom right now. So yeah, so as I was just gonna say though, as I look at even these pictures today, Yoni, and I can get a little bit different image off of these ones, and that's why if people knew how many pictures I take, it's enough to make anyone vomit, to be honest with you. It's enough to make me vomit that I don't even want to take any more pictures. So I was going through some of Yoni's pictures that she had sent me. She's like, look, I can't get pictures near as close as you. And can I send you them? Okay, little did I know when I open up the file, it says that there's 5,000 or 4,500 files in it. I'm like, no wonder Google Drive said it's too big to frickin' scan for a liar. And I'm just like, I literally started laughing. I was like, 4,500 files in here, huh? On there. Right. But anyway, so maybe that big that spatula spoon's in there, man. And you know what? I want to show you something. Well, I'm not going to really show you too much, but you see right here, and I think, okay, I know you guys don't see everything that I show you in these pictures, but I don't know what the heck this is, like some sort of, I don't even know what to call it. It's almost like it's a shrine. I really don't know. I know that there's these swarty looking sticks coming out here, but if I actually pull this in, and I can't really probably do it on this one, but if I kind of pull it in a little bit, you see how a shape starts forming somewhat from it. So it's almost like there's this thing here. There's another thing here, and it's like another tier here. And this one looks like a little hacksaw is what that looks like when I seen it earlier. It might not be, but it just gave me that look of a hacksaw thing. I don't even know what this thing is, whatever. But it's kind of like, and I'm only showing you at its worst in a second. I don't really use this program on here. I like to take my pictures and bring them into my other program. Right now, like this is exactly what happens. I go like that, then I get rid of it all because I can't stand looking at it anymore. Because it's just, and then there's the bare bones. That's really before I don't touch it. No, I did touch it there. I just sharpened the image. That's all I did. But you can clearly see there's some sort of object. I don't even know what that is, to be honest, yet. But I just enjoy trying to figure out what other things are there. I shouldn't say I enjoy it. It's just become, can I say it's been like a very therapeutic thing for me, for Abby and Libby, just to try to understand like this crime scene. But mind you, they have Richard Allen now. But it's still, we got still months before we're going to hear anything. So am I still going to try to figure out what else is at that crime scene to help kind of connect, like what it is that went on there? Let me put it this way. It is not a good scene. That's for sure. It is definitely a sick, poor girls. I want Richard Allen and whoever else is involved to pay. I don't even want their lives taken. I want them, to be strung up by their, And honestly, I want them to be in so much pain every day. And for him, I hope he loses everything. If he's found guilty, I want him, you lose your wife. I hope she never speaks to you again. I hope you lose almost everything that you ever wanted because you decided that you were going to go out and whoever else, and you decided to take two innocent, beautiful girls' lives. And it hurts so much. I'm looking at this scene. By the same token, it's like I just am trying to show myself what is there, but then show others what is there as well. No different than the bridge guy. And don't be shocked, when you hear a lot of that stuff come out probably in some of the evidence along the way. Just the fight for the girls,
Absolutely.
I can do the sentencing. string one up by this. But anyway.
100%. Yeah. I agree with everything you said, Sunny.
I do enjoy, for the people that take the time and understanding, I do enjoy for those people that they take something out of the photos. The ones that truly put time and effort into understanding them, because it gives you a real sense of what went on there that day. Whether it's that you see, a bunny rabbit that has a camera, whether you see some knives and stuff like that, whether you see some stuffed animals and some toys and whatever, it gives you a sense of truly what transpired in that crime scene area. And as for the BG, it gives you a sense like this guy did not just go. There was nothing random about these murders. Nothing at all is random about Abby's and Libby's murders. Regardless, he came prepared. He had a bunch of stuff on him. There was a bunch of more stuff that's at the crime scene. Just, if people want to think it's one person, it's okay. It will come out at the end of the day, hopefully the truth and that, but it just kind of gives you a sense, and we should be upset and we should be mad for what has transpired and what has taken so long for justice for Abby and Libby. It shouldn't have gone this long, but you know what? Can't take it back. It can't be taken back. It is what it is. So it's either like you take the lumps and whatever has happened and then you just move forward with it because that's all anybody can do. It doesn't matter. We
have to work with what we have now.
Right. We can be upset at LE, sure. Disappointed, absolutely. Disgusted downright on certain things for sure. That's not
hopefully they've learned. Yeah, and hopefully they've learned a very valuable lesson from this. And it's not to, people, something that, like Sonny, you have been accused of and other people on YouTube have been accused of is tunnel vision. And I would say I think that it is fair to say that at this point in the investigation, law enforcement in 2017 had tunnel vision. I think that they had their eyes set on Ron Logan. I think they were going in that direction. Even if you look at the dates that line up with with some of the original interviews and things like that, it was all during the time that they were gearing towards Ron Logan. And I think that's how they let all of this other stuff fall by the wayside. Mm-hmm. I think it's how Keegan Kline got away with what he did until 2019. I believe it's how Richard Allen got away with what he did by killing these girls until 2022. Because law enforcement decided it was Ron Logan, and they went in that direction, and they tried everything they could to prove it was him. He was not involved. It was not him. And then they were left directionless, which caused them to go in a new direction, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. Honestly, I'm not a police officer, so I don't have to be held accountable for that. Those guys have to be accountable for that. Like I said, be mad at what 5.5 years, basically, of something that really could have been dealt with, like Karina McClurkin a long time ago.
Yeah.
But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, like I said, if I was Tony Liggett, I would have wanted my name redacted from the affidavit as well, because he should be embarrassed.
when
Thanks,
they're
and that's hard for me to say because I love Doug Carter.
Yeah.
I love Kim Riley. I support all of these people.
It almost makes you wonder if it was planned for when Carter left so that they could push forward quickly with what they did. Because it does seem like everything was quickly rushed and the timing just doesn't seem right to me.
For what? Is it, are you talking conspiracy theorists?
Not for the crime, but for the actual filing of the affidavit and the arrest. The timing of it and his name being included in it and waiting till Carter was out of the country to do it, it almost makes you wonder if the motive to move forward was different than justice. But just timing doesn't seem right to me. Other than that, it's just odd.
Yeah. Why do you guys think, okay, this will be our final question out of here. Why do you guys think that they couldn't let go of Ron Logan?
Because the FBI.
The FBI?
If the FBI wasn't so strong on him, I don't think that you would have given the other departments, like you said, tunnel vision. I think that was all created because you've got the FBI involved and pushing towards what they think the narrative is. And you can't say that their track record isn't strong. It is. So you're going to follow with the strongest federally based track record you have in front of you helping. And if they just happen to go the wrong direction and don't realize it, everyone else is following suit.
Right. And I think that law enforcement was doing the very best they could with what they were given. I mean, at the time, to their capability. I don't think that this was a conspiracy. I don't think that anything was intentional. I just think that there were too many. What's the term? Too many pots in the fire.
Yeah.
Or,
too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen, which I think a county like Carroll County probably needed the assistance of the FBI and other resources. But I do think that it probably ended up creating a little bit more confusion. And I think the FBI were the ones that probably were spearheading the Ron Logan, which, there are fair points to why they were looking at him. He was, how many people said, 16 people said that he looked like the bridge guy. There were things, his phone pinged near where, near the scene. Granny lived there, but I think the reason I brought that up was I wanted it to be mentioned that, it should be a lesson to law enforcement not to put all of your eggs in one basket and not to get tunnel vision on one suspect. So, and I do think that whoever said that, I do think it was Liggett and Holman that were the ones that circled back around to Richard Allen, which would make sense because, Liggett's the sheriff.
Hey, could you guys do us a favor? There's 210 people watching and 100 likes. Could you guys hit that like button for us? That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Can we get 110 more likes?
Can we get 110 more likes?
Since Adam brought that up, going back and listening to different interviews, I think the Carroll County Sheriff's Department gets the raw end of the stick all the time with this. I think that they were more vested in the beginning and sort of got brushed to the side, and that made it harder for them to do their job.
Right.
And they seem to get the bad light all the time, and I don't think they deserve that.
Right. Even Tobe Lesenby, I think Tobe Lesenby's heart was in this 100%. I really do. I know that a lot of people have different opinions about him, but a personality is one thing, but I think intention is something you can't judge on someone without knowing their heart. And I think that he genuinely, I think everyone involved with this genuinely cared about the case, cared about the families, and wanted justice for the girls. And I'm sure, as much as we're saying they should be embarrassed, I'm sure they probably are.
I'm sure they take it harder than we think they do.
Right. I hope they don't come out and say that before this conviction.
Yeah. I think Lesenby's issue with the bloodlust, I think that was just everything coming to a head and them being so frustrated with everything that's going on because we're not allowed to know what they know, but since they know it and we don't, there's got to be some animosity towards everyone else coming up with ideas and pointing out issues and problems, how things were or not done right. And that's got to take a lot of a toll on them. They're dealing with the crime and the tragedy already. And then to have everyone out in social media, beating them down with their words every day, that's got to build up. And I think the frustration level just came to a top and it had to be let out.
I actually never told anybody this. Well, I think I might have told a few people. And I think, Louis, you're one of them. Doug Carter actually messaged me back.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me attitude.
Yes.
And I said, thanks for listening.
but you know what? He actually messaged you back, and he recognized who you were, and he told you why he messaged you back.
Yeah.
I give him a lot of credit for responding. It might have not been the best response, but I give him credit for actually messaging you back.
Thing is that for all that time, you're sending in tips. People are sending in tips or whatever, and some people are going, "Oh, well, they're hearing back," and I'm like, and you don't know one way or the other, right? And fine, fair enough. But I basically said, well, I'm not even going to tell you what I said. But I was just like, well, what? So he basically tore a strip out of my butt just a little bit. Basically said that you sleuths do not know what we know. And basically said, whatever it was, something like that. And then, so I said, thank you. At least you're listening. Carry on.
Did you see what Ben said?
Who?
Ben. That's 2 in one night, Ben. That's good. Right. Did he like and subscribe?
But it gives you faith that they actually do listen. They might not respond, and you might not know they do, but that's good proof that they pay attention.
You know what though? Usually I don't get pissy in my emails, but I was quite pissy in that email, and I was like, oh, so it took me to get pissy just for you to send me an email back? Well, thanks. Carry on. Okay, thanks. Thanks for knowing that I did exist. But anyways, what did I ask him? I don't even, honestly.
Boxers or briefs?
I don't even know that I asked him.
I think you just unleashed a little tirade on him for what's going on.
I think it was just more that, it was sometime around the press conference. And I just kind of unleashed you guys basically better get your crap together and blah, 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 whatever. I don't even remember what I said.
You vented. Just use venting is probably best.
I was too busy laughing at the response in a sense because I thought to myself, really? So all I had to do was get pissy with you for you to send me an email back. But he's like, well, because you included Vito's name in this, I felt the need to respond because it was to Doug Carter and Vito or whatever. Basically, then he's like, you guys don't know what we know, you guys sit behind your computers and think, whatever, and, da-da-da-da. And so I kind of pissed him off, but I was just like, well, thanks for getting back to me.
Yes, he was keeping him close to the vest.
Pull up the email. I ain't showing you my email. I have only shown.
You should have sent him a video and be like, I just got one missing piece for you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm kidding. I love Doug Carter.
At first, I was like, really? I was actually just kind of pissed because he actually emailed me back because it was the first pissy email I kind of sent. And I'm like, really? So that's all it took was just a pissy email for you to I think I said something like, and if you guys don't start getting your stuff together, then trust me when I say I'm going to send all my pictures to the defense team or something like that.
Right. Could you ask him if he wears boxers or briefs, Sonny? I know that Never Silent wants to know.
No, I didn't ask him that.
Good follow up.
A little bit.
You should message him back and be like, oh, so about the floor of 4.
Yeah. I think it was, like I said, I was just kind of like, I was pissy at first, and I was like, you know what, dude, it took me to get pissy at you just for you to answer, and you're saying it's because Vito was in the conversation. So he basically was trying to, stand up for the men in blue there and whatever. Yeah. And I'm just like, do your job type of thing. But in saying that, then I was kind of like, okay, thanks for listening. Carry on.
Right. And FP, I can answer that. His email signature is not a Bible verse.
Mm-hmm. Say that again.
FP, I said I can answer that. I said his email signature is not a Bible verse.
Yeah.
But it easily could be.
but it easily could be. Yeah. Oh,
I do think he's a good man.
You know what?
I just wish he didn't speak he drives me crazy at this point.
He is a good man.
I think you've got more of a chance of Lesenby's being a Bible verse than Carter's.
Yeah.
He brings that up quite often, and I can see his signature being a Bible verse.
I mean, it does. I mean, you know, I think they're both incredibly spiritual people. So.
Yeah, but he injects it more into his responses. His responses don't come out as planned as Carter's do. He speaks more from his chest, and I could see him putting that more forward than Carter would, because Carter's got to be more diplomatic. But yeah, I could see Lesenby having that in his signature.
All right. Oh, and not to change subject, I know we're going to go in a second. Yeah. I wanted to address really quickly before we go off. A few people had asked me in Messenger if I personally don't believe that Judge Frango is going to issue a change of venue. Just because, I mean, she's publicly stated that she has every intention of trying this in Carroll County. But I will say, I was asked the question, if it moves to a different place in Indiana, if McClellan would still be the prosecutor, and the answer to that is yes, because he was the appointed prosecutor even though like they would move, if they moved the trial out of Carroll County, they would still be the Carroll County prosecutor. Although it would give him the opportunity to include whatever county they move it to, the prosecutor in that county could join his prosecution team, and he also has the option of appointing a special prosecutor to the team. So,
I'm hoping they do that. I really am hoping either way that they've
got Shane Evans.
Not just to say he can't do it on his own, but I think just to handle what I think the defense is going to come up with, I really think they need a bigger team.
Right. I will say I
don't think this night would be complete, personally, without a little bit of David McCain Tai Chi.
Now we're going to go yellow.
No.
I agree with your cards. I think everything about Judge Brand is, or Judge Gull is impressive to me. I admire everything about her so far.
I want you guys to appreciate this. Deep breaths, people. Deep breaths. This is before we go. Lewis, that's right. Keep your eyes down. Deep breaths, people. Breathe
so
in.
I can read chat.
Breathe out. That's it. Let yourself be at one with the screen. Feel it? You guys feeling it? Alexa, you best be doing this. Release your inners. That's right. You know what? Everyone needs a little bit of feng shui or what is it? Tai Chi?
Tai Chi.
Tai Chi. Tai Chi. See how peaceful that is? Oh, I feel like it's one of those things like 1 year. Oh, Delphi. 2 years. 3 years. That's about as fast as Delphi has taken. 5 years. There we go. I'm just like, I feel like I'm watching like this slow-mo stuff going on. Okay, that's enough of that. You're welcome. All right. Did you guys feel better now?
Yeah. Was that video taken at the bridge?
Right? I just feel like, everyone was kung fu fighting.
You brought that video up. I know you want to end this soon, but that brings up a question.
Ooh.
I don't see anyone mentioning seeing either of them at the bridge that day.
Who?
The McCains.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What was this?
Yeah. Unless the male witness is one of them.
Possibly.
No.
Yeah.
Or they could have just been one of the unnamed people that was there after 213 and did not encounter either Richard Allen or the girls, because they just kind of left that as a blanket statement as far as there were witnesses there after 213 that did not encounter either victim 1 or 2 or Richard Allen or someone fitting his description.
Okay.
I think we'll have. I think we'll have. I think we're going to have a little bit of time to regurgitate and get sick of this affidavit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind. You know what? To be honest with you, I'm already over it. There's nothing there of great value. Like, meaning we learned a few things about timeline and stuff, but is there anything more to add on to it besides, hey, Richard Allen, and possibly what I figure I already know this, that there's more than one person involved. Okay, who's little, perhaps this guy that's in black, that they're speaking about, blah, blah, blah. But when I thought about it yesterday, I thought to myself, I mean, it was just, it was like, here's some crumbs.
But you know what, Sonny? I mean, maybe I'm more of a half glass full because I have to keep telling myself, as disappointing as so much of it was that was in it, we have spent so long wanting any bit of confirmation or piece of the puzzle that we didn't have confirmed or answered, and we got a little bit of those things answered, and we got. So I mean, we went so long with nothing that, of course I'm disappointed in it, but
don't get me wrong.
I'm grateful, and I'm, and I'll be happy to talk about it over and over again for a bit.
All of a sudden, this big ad block popped up in front of my face.
Uh-oh. What did you do?
Nothing. It was just a big ad block that was like, your ad block. You need to get it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, the StreamYard one?
No. No, it was
Stop clicking on those things.
Ad block, but no. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I appreciate anything more than 0%. So it was just one of those things, though, that it was kind of like once I thought of it, it's like, thank you for the extra information, but it's not like it's not like I could sit here and go, oh yeah, well that's 2 months worth of lives about that document. I'm going to go back to my pictures. I'll go back to searching. So it's kind of like, like for people, for instance, like you're going to start seeing people. And I was thinking about doing this myself. You build your map again and you put in the times and you do certain things. But there was things in there that were really good because we got to know stuff. Absolutely. But, like I said, it's like I've absorbed it now for the most part. And, it's a lot of some of the guessing is out of the way of certain things. We know there was a vehicle and stuff like that. And there's definitely things to look into still, of course. Yeah. But it's meaning like, but it wasn't like a plethora of information, but there was definitely some things that now we can put understanding to. At the end of the day, it really just becomes about Richard Allen and what they have to convict him. Hopefully it's more than enough, and whoever else played a role in it, and where the connection is to the Kleins and stuff like that. I'm just, I guess for me, I am a very patient person that way. As much as we waited for a long time for this to happen, and I love the fact that we got this, my next headspace is already set for February. Yeah. Like up until then now, it's just a matter of that gives me more time to look at the crime scene photos because, nothing's going to change unless the date changes again. It just gives me more time to look over things and maybe, like I said, check around the different things going on. And yeah, so that's how I just kind of look at it. It's like, I guess meaning that whole thing that we just went through with the affidavit, once I absorbed it, now I'm like, okay, I'm good to go,
Right. So
I think we've read
it'd probably be best if I went to the hearing in February, don't you think?
I think you should. Or Lewis, go with him.
I definitely go if we can. If they're going to allow
if there's one more seat,
I'll go.
If there's one more seat in that courtroom, I'm elbowing you out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, we found out from this last time they brought out a table and chairs for more people, so we'll see how open they are to this.
Yeah.
Lewis, you can get there at 5 a.m. and I'll show up at 8:30.
9 to 10, 10 for 11. Hey, you guys, some of you guys, like not Lewis, Lewis not, but hey, Jojo Ballistic, some of you guys, it's already December 1st already. It's already almost Christmas time.
If you're on the East Coast or Indiana, it is. Yeah, it's totally fine.
Well, it depends on where in Indiana. I'm only 11:06.
That's true. I'm sorry.
These aren't my red ones. But these aren't my red ones, but those are my. You come at me, people. Let's go.
I'll tell you, it gets really annoying at my building because the main road that my building is on. If I walk out towards the road, my phones will switch to the later time, and then they lose signal completely. It's the most aggravating thing in the world because you have to restart the phone just to get it to work. But I'm probably 10 miles from where it really should change. But yeah,
right.
It's frustrating. So I deal with it every day.
Aussie, I can answer your question really quickly. If you're on your phone, if you're in the chat on the right hand side, you should see a square with a dollar symbol in the middle. And if you hit that, it'll give you options, and you can either do a super chat or
buy a membership for somebody
super sticker, or you can also do the PayPal, which
let's do
there
that.
So I got it.
Sunny, please. We hit bio,
and then so you can do any one of those. But if you just want to do it on your phone, you can just hit the dollar symbol on the right hand side of where you would normally put in your chat.
Who are you talking to?
Aussie asked how to do a payment or a Aussie said, anyone have dummy instructions how to add a payment on here?
Oh, I see. Oh, you know what? You can go to the coffee app in bio too. Do that. That's simple. So okay, let's do that. A couple more things. You guys, on the bio link, whenever I drop the bio link,
FP, I'm going to interrupt you again, Sunny. FP, PayPal does not take PayPal. YouTube takes 30%, so PayPal is always easier just because they don't take that portion. But whatever's best for you.
YouTube takes 30%. YouTube instantly will take 30% of your money. PayPal or buy a coffee takes dollars, like dollars. Versus the 30%. I mean, it's never fun, but I mean, that's how YouTube is. Billion trillionaires. But anyways, either way, if anyone does wish to donate, don't forget that Friday night is our donation night for Blaine's children. Blaine passed away September. Hold on. Did I get my dates wrong? Is it? I'm almost forget. August.
You said Friday. It's Friday the 2nd, right?
What? No. Right, Blaine. I'm having a stupid moment. He passed away.
The 16th of October.
Okay, it was October. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 months. Well, in 2 weeks.
Darn.
So we're doing that Friday night still.
Yeah, Friday night. And hopefully Alexa, she can join us. Lewis, you can join us. I know Kelly's on vacation.
Is Andrew gonna maybe join us?
He said to message him on that day. Andrew Best, if you guys remember him from that the funny video.
He looks amazing. He looks awesome.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's going to take the kids out shopping for Christmas. Okay, guys. So just thank you for supporting these 3 children to have a good Christmas. Their dad passed away. They're struggling. It's just our way of trying to help out, for Blaine's kids for Christmas time. And I think it's a very sweet thing to do. What are you doing? Kissing your phone? What are you doing? You talking to your phone?
Aussie said, did it work? And then they said that they sent. They almost accidentally sent a really large amount, and I said, "Oh, that would have been fine if you'd made that."
That would have been fine, Ozzy. We wouldn't have stopped you. What? Just don't be silly. You just go back and fix that.
So how do we split the 100,000?
Okay. Well, I'll send your dollar. No. So that's going to be Friday, okay? That is going to be Friday. It would be really nice if some people can help out, even if it's just to buy a coffee from the coffee app. And you can still do that today. If you can't be here or don't want to be here, and you can just send a coffee purchase a coffee through the coffee app in the bio link, that would be great. It all adds up, you guys. If you just put in $5, that would be great. If not, then okay, thank you. It's perfectly fine. If you can't afford to, don't want to, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But at least, hi Jojo, thank you Jojo.
Thank you, Jojo.
But if you could just maybe like or subscribe to the channel if you like following us, we really do like to try to do good things. And as well as same time, we have a diverse type of channel where we have the different personalities and Alexa, Callie, and Brenda's been on, Hudis has been on. There's a lot of you guys. Adam's been on. Of course, Lewis here. And Deb still comes into the chat here. And and thank you. And Mel's been on. So you know what? We like the fact that the channel can have humor and still talk serious stuff, and stuff like that. But Jojo, thank you very much, Jojo Ballistic. So thank you. But
if I could be serious for half a second, Belinda, I haven't seen you in the chat for a while, but I just wanted to say that I know that this was the first Thanksgiving, and now will be the first Christmas without your husband. And I just want you to know that we're thinking of you, and that we love you. Okay, Belinda? Because I know that's not easy, and it's not lost on me that you're dealing with that this year.
Married to you, Sonny.
Sorry
about your
can't stop those.
But I rock at this.
You rock at this, yes. Thank you. And you sorry, Belinda, that interfered with Adam's speech there on there. Right. We love you. Yes.
I know it's not gonna ever be easy, but I know the first holiday is hard.
Absolutely. And we're your family too. Right, Belinda? Kisses for Belinda. Thank you. So
now I won't be serious anymore.
No, absolutely. No. And just like, again, like with Alexa, and things going on there, with her grandpa and stuff like that. And middle mama Michelle, and, just prayers for everybody. Okay. That everyone goes through sadness and different things in their life, and we try to do things to kind of help ease the pain or take away from the pain or distract our minds and stuff like that. I do it. Everyone does it. Again, I really like you guys for the fact of, I like it that it's a family type vibe in here. You get to really know a lot of you guys. Some of you guys love me. Some of you don't. No, just kidding. Some of you like Adam more. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Has Lisa been in the house or is she mad at me still? Have you seen Lisa?
What did you do while I was gone?
I told you.
You didn't tell him?
Yeah, I did tell him.
Kidding.
I was like, but she loves you more anyway. So, but anyways, so prayers again to Deborah, now that I say that actually. And thank you from WL22, Charlotte Dean and Magic. Thank you as well for your earlier donations today. And you guys go ahead, please. Again, check out the merch store if you could. If you do have anything extra and you want to buy something, but
Aussie, did you try it on like a super chat, or did you try it on PayPal? Because if you tried it 3 times, you might have sent it 3. Did you answer if you put it in PayPal, or because it would have showed up on the screen if it was on YouTube.
If it was on YouTube, it would show up on the screen, but I'm not sure.
Super chat.
Oh no, it didn't show up. Yeah, on there. Ozzy, if you want to just go to the link and do it through the coffee app or whatever.
Yeah.
A coffee app, you can use whatever credit card, whatever you want. On the coffee app, you can buy 1 coffee, 2 coffees, 3 coffees, 4 coffees. Doesn't matter. It's up to you, Ozzy. Totally up to you.
We love you.
Yeah. And so if it
clearly you have a card on. I'm sorry, Sonny.
No, go ahead.
I would say clearly Aussie has a card with YouTube because Aussie is a member. So clearly, so it should have whatever payment you use for that already on there when you hit the super chat. But I don't know what kind of phone you're on or anything, or if you're on a computer.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just that if you did try 3 times and it didn't show up, it means something didn't work. Because it would have shown up. So it's just really whatever, I don't know.
I just looked at the time and it made me laugh, Sonny. That hour and a half.
Yeah. No, I was perfectly on track. And every time, okay. Oh, I was gonna
Is that what I sound like? Or is
Well,
that
before we went live, Sonny, do you remember what I said before we went live? When you said hour and a half?
Well, no, I was fine and was sticking with the time.
I know, but do you remember what I said to you? I said, okay, so you mean 3 hours?
Yeah, and then look what it's
and
almost been.
we're almost at 3 hours.
Oh, you're blonde like Alexa?
Yeah, and Jumpin' Jack Flash. The Kelsey's event did get. It's not been rescheduled yet, but it's been indefinitely postponed. So I'm really, really, really bummed about it, but I understand it.
Kelsey, yeah. What is today? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, what is it? Wednesday. Yeah.
So November 30th.
So every time.
December 1st.
Okay. So every time we're live, how should I do this, Adam? Because I want somebody to send a question in, and if your question gets put in here, that can get answered. So, but you have to email, okay? You have to email at crimingshame@gmail.com, and you can ask whatever question you want as long as it's appropriate. I like to be opposite of that, but sometimes we gotta, for soundness sake, we gotta. And if anyone wants something special made for someone for Christmas, remember, you still have to email me at acrimingshame@gmail.com. And thank you, Willie Billy. Okay, well, I'll keep that clean. Like when Sonny tells Alexa a short live. Yeah, right? And then it ends up being 4 hours, right, Alexa? Like the other day?
Right.
I'm just coming in. Has Jared's court date been rescheduled? Yes, it has. A couple weeks from now, I'm sure. Because if that's what I was gonna do. So for all you people that maybe didn't, let's see here. Where am I looking at? Videos. Okay. View on YouTube. No, I don't want to view. I want to share. I want to copy. I want to post this link. And if anyone didn't see that was quite comical. I put it together for you nicely compact into video format about what happened today on Jared's non what do you want to call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Come on,
non-hearing.
What?
Like non-hearing?
Yeah, is non-hearing, for, basically streamers mess that one up. But anyways, it is what it is. Yeah.
You gotta be careful when you take those earbuds out.
Yeah.
AirPods.
Thing was is that I was looking forward to it. But I mean, I couldn't help but laugh because it was, it wasn't like Duty Ron meant to. Like meant to do that. But then it caused a.
Did you see his face?
Huh? Oh yeah.
Someone sent me a screenshot of his face when he realized it. He was like,
I know. He was just like, oh yeah, But the thing that kind of made me giggle that I didn't really put in there was the fact that it was really because of him that it all happened. And then he was like kind of almost like blaming other YouTube creators, and I'm like, dude, it was literally because of what you started. But the thing was is that it was just all I couldn't help but laugh at the end of it. They shouldn't have been streaming it anyway. I mean, according to what the judge said there, but meaning live streaming it anyway. And Judy Ron was going to do it from his thing, but it was just, for me, it was comical because I'm just bouncing around between these 3 channels going, what's going on? I'm like, like I felt like I was in the middle of this whirlwind, and then I go over to and I love Jay. I don't even really watch Jay is for Justice, but I just love how outspoken she is. Maybe too outspoken in some ways, but I love it. And so she's just sitting there. Well, like you said, she deleted it, but she was cursing a lot during that because she was pissed. And so I had to delete it a lot. Didn't stop my video from turning yellow regardless, even the one I uploaded, but whatever. I was just like, is what it is. But anyways, it ended, it's one of those things you can sit there and go, be mad or just laugh about it, really, because, that's what happens when you do WebEx and someone accidentally hits something and then they start speaking or whatever. But in this case, and then you got Doug from No Thanks, and who's the best YouTuber on, here, plunk, plunk, plunk. And then you hear this. But the best part of it probably was when that guy's like, excuse me, am I supposed to be in court today? Just that right there. Right. It was like a circus. I was just like, really? I'm catching all of this. And I'm like, well, let me go over here and I'm going to record a bit of this one. Let me go back over here, record a bit of this one. And I just put the gist of what exactly happened in it, taking out a few of the cuss words for sure. Believe the word, So I was just like, yeah, it was pretty funny. Anyways, if you guys haven't watched that, again, there's the channel for that. Aspen Connor, you ever watch football?
Sometimes, not very often. I'm not an NFL fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I know enough about it to get by.
Well, McDougal, that question was just enough to put us to sleep now.
Right. I mean, I like soccer. I've been watching the World Cup pretty.
There we go. That did it. I'm amazed we didn't get kicked off of YouTube just by that topic right there.
You went yellow.
Yeah, I know, right? All you have to do is say soccer, and we'll go yellow. Deb knows. Her son's in soccer. My least favorite sport.
I know. I don't have any. I know. Yeah.
I played sports all my life, and soccer was my least.
You got to remember it. They're the hottest players.
Yeah, is that what it
Think
is?
of all sports.
Yeah.
The football players are all fat and like brain can cut. They're they have limitations, and then.
That reminds me. So, okay, wait, back to this. So, if anyone wants anything specially made from the merch store, you have to email me. But you guys can send me a few questions here. Doesn't matter if it's for Adam, myself, or just a general question and whatever. Okay. Someone will each time we're live, a special, whoever it is, I'll put your question in here and I'll read it on the live. Okay. Fair enough. I repent of my born sins, honey. It's okay, McDougal tree. You're lucky that you're a McDougal tree. Okay, but anyways, do that. Okay, and if nobody asks any questions, well then, you know what, you guys fail. If nobody can be asked to send me an email to ask me a question that we can read on the live, okay, then that just means you guys are not happy people, and that you don't love Christmas or Santa Claus or us. All right, just saying. Spink. All right, who's your daddy now? Okay, is that it? Any last thoughts before we go? Are you sure?
I'm done.
I mean, there's still 12 more minutes before 3 hours.
No, I want to be in the 2-hour range.
Oh, okay, definitely. Okay, so with that said, then, guys, okay, thank you guys so much for your love and support. Please give a like. Please hit a share. It really helps with the algorithm and stuff like that. So if you could do that, that's just as good as a coffee that you didn't buy. Anyways, have a great night, you guys, and we'll see you Friday.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis. And Alexa, let me know if you can make it for Friday. Okay. Just let me know. And you guys, thank you so much. You guys have a great night. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas month tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Yeah.